improved this team over the years until we break through. And my goal is not only to make the playoffs, but to make the playoffs year after year after year, and eventually to win a cup.
Ted, thank you so much. Certainly a bright future ahead of you. We are excited, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jill.
All right, coming up, Patriots Day in Boston isn't complete without some morning baseball at Fenway, and the Sox made this a game to remember. Don't go away.
It's Fan Appreciation Day in Washington, but the home hockey club plans on showing no appreciation to the Atlanta Thrashers in their desperate quest for a first-ever playoff berth. Saturday, the Caps faced an opponent that had pounced on them all season. Determined to throw the first punch, they landed in front, riding a rookie wing that has found the net 51 times. But Brent Johnson proved to be the star of the show, stopping 47 shots in a shootout win. Tonight, Atlanta arrives fighting for their playoff lives, needing every possible point to secure a franchise first. Will this sniper hit his target? Or will this rookie steal the show again? Find out next on Comcast Sportsnet. Verizon Center, the site tonight as the Washington Capitals close out their home regular season, taking on the Atlanta Thrashers, and playoff implications for the Thrashers abound. Hi, everybody. Al Koken joining you tonight along with Craig Laughlin. And Craig, if the Washington Capitals are reduced to playing spoilers, what better party pooper to have than the red-hot Alex Ovechkin?
Well, Alexander Ovechkin, obviously the main man of the hour here in Washington. He scored 23.2% of the goals, best in the National Hockey League. That's 51 of the Caps, 220 overall. He's fired a ton of shots on goal number 50, 415 shots. Only Esposito twice in Korea, more in the history of the game. And he scored on 22 of the 24 teams he's faced this season. He's been terrific from the start to the end for this Caps team.
You know, it's amazing. 41 games the Capitals have played, decided by one goal. But at least on Saturday night, they got on the good side of that equation.
Yeah, and obviously, when you're in a shootout, you want to get your big gunners out there to score. There's Dinah Zubers to the top corner. Neuendijk Stone, great play by Brent Johnson. Pettinger off the pipe and in past Jamie McLennan. Came down to stumble to have some life. He hit a piece of the left pad and the crossbar. The Caps have points in 9 of their last 12 after that victory against FLA. And they have points in 15 of their last 24. Those are pretty good numbers. And on the road, much better than at home. 5, 2, and 3 in their last 10 visits out of Verizon Center.
Greg, this is a very proud hockey team, and I think everybody knows that Ole Kolzig embodies that pride, and Ole and the rest of the team really would love to get him number 20 tonight.
I think they really would, Al. And Ole Kolzig, he's played some terrific hockey all season for this Caps team. Stewart against the Bruins, a nice save in front. He was the difference in that hockey game. They ended up beating the Bruins 2-1 in overtime, but it was all because of Ole Kolzig. You mentioned the 20-win plateau. If he gets it, it'll be his 7th time in his career. Versus Atlanta, 1 win in 6, career 11-8-5, Al.
As a former National Hockey League goaltender, Glenn Hanlon can appreciate what Ole Kolzig has tried to accomplish this year, and as a coach, he certainly can appreciate that he'll be around for a couple more.
He's played very well, and we're very fortunate to have him back for next year. And he's stood tall, and I think that there's times for a goaltender that there could be some frustration that could come in, and you could spout off and say something critical about your teammates, but he's never done that. And it's one of the reasons that we are going to get to the top here.
Glenn Hanlon saying some great things about Ole Kolzig, and why not? All right, Craig, the playoffs begin this weekend, but there's still a couple spots to be determined, and the Washington Capitals right in the mix as they play both the Atlanta Thrashers and the Tampa Bay Lightning as we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings and tell you what these next 2 games could mean.
Well, for Atlanta, they need both Tampa Bay and Montreal to lose tomorrow, and they need to beat the Caps in Florida to get in. This Tampa Bay team, when they're playing against Atlanta, they've struggled. Atlanta has been red hot. They're 5-0-1 out in their last 6 big wins versus TB. That was really a bone-crushing loss for Tampa Bay, 6-2. Kozlov beat the Caps 5-3, and then it was all Sutton. How about this big dude of a defenseman? 2 goals in that big matinee win against the Bruins. You look at teams since their start, before their first appearance, the Caps took them 9 seasons before they first made it in 82. Nashville, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Atlanta has missed the playoffs in all 5 of their first seasons.
Well, if the Capitals are going to keep the Thrashers on the sidelines, they better find a way to stop Cap killer Marian Hossa. He has been a handful every time he's faced Washington. Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Capitals hockey is brought to you by Alexandria Buick Pontiac GMC. Service, and more service. By Pulte Homes. Pulte Homes has 15 new home communities in the D.C. metro area. Visit Pulte.com. And by Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. We're getting ready to drop the puck here at Verizon Center as the Capitals close out their home regular season. One more game to go tomorrow night in Tampa. As we see Rob Schick getting ready to drop the puck, he'll be working with Brad Meyer, and Andy McKelman and Tim Nowak will be assisting Mr. Schick and Meyer as linesmen. Bobby Holik ready to step in to square off against Jeff Halpern, and we have a little bit of a problem in terms of sunlight back in the back, and right now that's bothering, we understand, Mike Dunham. And speaking of goaltender Mike Dunham, Craig, let's take a look at our goaltending matchup.
Well, there it is. The visitors go to Mike Dunham. They've got to, because their number 1 guy is hurt. Lettinen 8-4-2, 5-4-2 career versus the Caps. For the Ole Kolzig, he gets a nod looking for his 7th time with 20-plus wins. He's 19-28-11. Career versus Atlanta, 11-8-4. A light problem still stalling the start of this hockey game.
Let's get you to our vhix.com keys to the game as we take a look at this matchup.
No, there you take a look for Atlanta. Do or die. They must win. Simple as that, and they must win tomorrow night. Chip in, Chuck. Kovalchuk has to be a factor for them. He was held off the board on Saturday's game against the Bruins. He's their big gunslinger. For the Caps, roadway. They've got to bring their road victories home. They've lost 7 straight here at Verizon Center. And one-on-one defense, anytime you're playing a crafty group of forwards that Hartley's team has, like an Ovechkin, like a Kovalchuk, go down the list of great players on display tonight, Al. You've got to be terrific in one-on-one situations.
Craig, I know you're a very powerful man. You run the things here on Comcast. Can you turn off the sun so we can get this game going? I know you like to control everything.
That is supposed to be home ice advantage.
There's you take a look at.
There it is, Aldo. I'm going to be sitting in a lot of that, and I'm going to be playing a lot of this soon. Do you know what that is, Aldo?
That would be a drumstick.
No, it's a tennis racket. And I need this type of weather.
Well, put my golf club, put my TaylorMade R7 that I hope to be getting soon. Is Glenn Hanlon,
okay,
Dean
so I
Evason
guess the game isn't
going
going to start till the sun goes down.
Apparently not.
So take it over, Al. I got to leave for a second.
We get some SPF 35 for the broadcast booth. Well, apparently it's okay now for Mr. Dunham. So Rob Schick will lean in. Holik and Halpern do the same. And we are underway here on Comcast Sportsnet. Played behind the Capital net. Mellenby with the interception in front. They score immediately. Bobby Holik off a perfect setup by Scott Mellenby. And just like that, the Thrashers take the 1-0 lead.
Oh, the sun didn't affect their start. This has been the red-hot line. Hartley talked about him all the time. He's been raving about Bobby Holik and the veteran group with Slater and Mellenby up front. And that's a perfect tic-tac-toe top shelf Bobby Holik. Has he ever been hot? 11 seconds. They hardly dropped the puck. It comes on a dump in, cross corner. Watch what happens behind the net here. Little bit of miscommunication. They don't get it past Mellenby. Out to Holik. The hard around, not hard enough. And just like that, Atlanta very happy. They knew they had to get off to a good start. 1-0 on that top shelf shot.
I'd say 11 seconds qualifies as a great start, so the Thrashers off and running. And how will the Caps answer back? Brian Wilsey trying to throw some muscle around. Matt Pettinger doing the same thing. Here is Mellenby again, the veteran, softly to the corner. First to play it is Holik. Grabs it again. Centering pass, and this time Kolzig has to make a big save on Mellenby as Holik tried to return the favor.
Exactly the same play, Al. Good point there because they worked the triangle. That's a soft spot. That's a tough area to defend against. Above the hash marks and below the top of the circles. It's hard, Al, for a D to get all the way that far out. They've made it pay off once already. Look for that maybe as a trend in this hockey game.
And we'll see how much Bob Hartley uses that line. You talked about it, Craig. They were the line, along with the defenseman Andy Sutton, that got them back to a victory over Boston on Saturday. So Bob Hartley showing his confidence with a starting assignment, and it pays dividends 11 seconds into the contest. Right now the Capitals regroup. Majewski finds Brian Sotheby off his stick. Kozlov softly back in. And this time Matt Bradley returns it to Sean Morrison, the smooth skating Cap defenseman. In a bouncing puck, glove down and left for McCarthy by Dunham. Cross-ice pass, read nicely by Brian Muir, but on the follow-up, it's Mark Savard. He spins away from a check. Centering pass, Eminger gobbles that up and starts it ahead to Chris Clark. Clark tries a maneuver, an interesting angle shot there. Dunham didn't look very confident with that shot coming in.
But notice how he's a stand-up goaltender. We were talking about that on Thursday night when the Caps played Atlanta in Atlanta. He's an old-school type goaltender. He's a challenger, gets out, uses his body, and allows the puck to hit him a lot.
Ovechkin, the centering pass. Clark gets to it, throws it in front. That's kicked out awkwardly by Dunham. Now the Thrashers regain control. Caps back out of the zone. Up to center ice. Patrick Stefan, the dump in. Line changes on the defense now for Atlanta as Stefan tries a little forecheck pressure.
And now Stefan struggled offensively. You know, he has only 1 point the last 7 games, and that came Thursday in an assist against the Caps. They need more offense production out of Stefan, one of their top 3 pivots.
Particularly when you're playing with Ilya Kovalchuk. You'd think those points would be coming the way Kovalchuk can pump them in with 52 goals on the season.
Although Kovalchuk usually doesn't play with his line mates.
We'll keep an eye on number 17 doing it all himself.
That's why I like him so much.
Much like this broadcast.
Exactly. That's a point out right on the money. Way to go.
Icing waved off as Brooks Laich delivers a hit behind the net. And quickly towards the net, Rico Fata from a tough angle. Laich, who's played well as of late. The speedy Fata in the corner, looking for help. Right off the bench is Clark, moves to the front. Almost gets a little piece of the deflection. There's Laich again to keep it alive. Behind the net, it's played around by Garno Exelby, but not out. Caps with some good pressure early. That shot stopped by DeVries. Then it gets on to Dunham. Now a shot and a score! Persistence in the front of the Capital net. And Brooks Laich has got this game tied at 1.
Well, you couldn't chip that puck any better. Mike Dunham looks startled. This is one he'd like to have back. Could have used a butterfly net to stop that. Was hardly moving when it went up and over his catching glove. Here's the play in front, the crazy bounce. Watch that chip shot. And there's that big leather mitt. He couldn't get it up in time. Watch this. One more time here. Watch the catching glove. Where is that Mike Dunham? Well, he misses it clean off the top of the pipe and in. The Caps have tied this baby up.
We talked about Brooks Laich in the open. He will be playing for Bruce Boudreau and the Hershey Bears, but right now duties for the Washington Capitals. And for Brooks Laich, he picks up goal number 7 on the year.
And it's been a while since Brooks Laich had scored. It's been over 25 games, Al. His last goal was against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I thought and another score on the quick exchange as we see Brian Wilsey beating Mike Dunham. Pettinger and Wilsey combining, so Matt Pettinger creeps 1 goal closer to that 20-goal plateau.
And just like that, Barb Hartley's seen enough as the Caps fans on their feet. Out is going to come the veteran Dunham. In comes the youngster Garnett. He has seen enough. 2 weak goals to start the game. Dunham would like both of these babies back. And the Caps on the board once again. It's a quick rotation. Good pass, Biron. Watch this long-range slap shot. You got to have that. You can't go down Mike Dunham. He's a stand-up goaltender, but he goes down. Here comes the shot from Petty. He threw a little bit of a screen. Might have bounced a little bit. Dunham shows disgust at the end of that. Petty on a slapper, number 19.
One of the best shots on this Washington Capital team. Matt Pettinger unloads there with Brian Wilsey driving towards the net. And just like that, the night could and should be over for Mike Dunham. And now the backup goaltender, Michael Garnett, coming into this contest. So a 2-1 Capital lead after Bobby Holik started everything off just 11 seconds into the game for the Atlanta Thrashers. What a turn of events.
Man, and just 2 weak goals. Mike Dunham, as a veteran, must be better than that in a game like this. You expect that from a guy that's been around the block a few times. He's a tremendous leader in the locker room. He's a heck of a guy to talk to, but Hartley did not like those first 2 goals. He gets the yank. They've got to go to Garnett, and this is a guy, Al, that's had some good numbers, and he's had one of the longest win streaks this season for this hockey club when both Dunham and Lettinen were out of the lineup.
Hasn't played, though, in the National Hockey League level as Matt Bradley gets a seat for hooking and gives the Thrashers their first power play since January 2nd. So he's been back in the minors, recalled because of the injury on April 6th to Kari Lettinen, who would be the #1 goaltender for the Thrashers. So you're asking now, Michael Garnett, save our season.
Yeah.
And welcome back.
That's a tall task.
We'll see what the Thrasher power play can get on track. Ole Kolzig plays it around. Pinballs its way to dangerous territory, but now cleared by the Caps, and starting back shorthanded, Chris Clark. He'll head to the bench as the Caps kill off the first 30 seconds of the Thrasher power play.
And this power play, one of 3 teams over 100 goals with the extra man this year. And when you look at some of the teams, they're right up there with the big boys. Toronto leads the pack with 106, Atlanta 100, Ottawa 100 on the extra man attack.
Of course, this Thrasher power play is absolutely spectacular. #1 on the road, over 22%. That shot just whistles wide of Kolzig. Osa throws behind the net. Majewski tries to wheel away from Mellenby. Now Marian Hossa in the corner. He gets taken down. No call coming. Savard loses it, and that is cleared on a nice job by Jeff Alpern.
Well, Morrison got away with one, Al, that could have been a hook or a little bit of a trip against Hossa, who tried to walk the wall.
40 seconds remaining, and the hooking call to Matt Bradley. Kovalchuk remains out there. Bobby Holik, who scored the first goal of this game, now in a wrestling match along the boards. And finally, the whistle blows. 29 seconds to go in the Caps penalty.
Well, here's a look at all 3 goals, Al, just like this. 11 seconds in, and it'll look like a bad scene for the Caps. Mellenby, Holik, Roof, thank you very much. 1-0. Bad chip shot here. This is one Dunham could have. Likes it a lot. Top corner. And then this long-range bomb from Pettinger through the 5-hole. The stick not down quick enough. See you later, alligator. For the goaltender, Dunham, the veteran. In comes Garnett.
So Rico Fata got the assist on the Brooks Laich goal. Nolan Yachman on the Matt Pettinger goal. 2-1 Capitals. Slava Kozlov fires. Kolzig got a chunk of that. Kozlov regains. 6 seconds remaining in the Bradley call. Kozlov back to the point. Kovalchuk with the pass. Shot. Missing the mark. And Matt Bradley is out. The Capitals have killed off their first penalty of the day. Deflection, and that just trickles wide. Kozlov tries to center, and Jeff Halpern gets dumped into the boards. Olik sends Dinah Zubris there, but the Caps do get the job done, so a good penalty kill for the Washington Capitals.
And it was all about defense there, especially Eminger and company doing a good job with clearouts and making sure they're taking away the sticks of the Thrash in front of their net.
Everything kept to the perimeter, unlike the first few moments of this game when a couple slot shots got the Thrashers that first goal. Here's Jim Slater, lofts one up into the netting for a stoppage in play. Great turn of events. Nolan Yonkman, one of the guys to pick up an assist for the Cap 2-1 lead. Well, Craig, in the matter of 23 seconds, Nolan Yonkman has gotten 50% more of his assist point. He comes in with 4 assists on the season, and in 23 seconds picks up 2 on both Capital goals.
Well, the Caps working on quick ups from their D. The faster they get it to the forwards, the better off they're going to be, and that's exactly what Nolan Yonkman's doing, is simplifying his game and getting it puck up to the forwards to attack.
So we'll see how the Capitals continue this attack now that they have got the lead. Offside there is going to be called. Brian Sotheby touched it. He won't. He instead leaves it for Patrick Stefan. Stefan out there on the ice momentarily. That was Marian Hossa and Jim Slater. And as Bob Hartley also switching up some of his forward lines. Now it's Brian Muir to fire in. Garnett doesn't stop it, but it creeps over the Capitals line, and they will reset. Little change going on right now for the Atlanta Thrashers as they get fresh troops out. Garnett doesn't look exactly very confident right now either. I guess any kind of rubber the Caps can get on him to see if he's also a little nervous in this situation.
Exactly.
Good check in the corner on Bolton. Keep an eye on Eric Bolton into the lineup. We think for a little extra muscle, and this is exactly what they may need. Zubris tried to find Ovechkin, lost it, centering pass, and that just missed the mark. Brad Larson starts away for the Atlanta Thrashers. He'll send it down to the Washington end. Back to play it without helmet is Nolan Yonkman. Majewski snaps it to Ovechkin. Bounces off his stick, but there's Zubris to bull his way in, and it's offside on the play.
Well, prior to the game tonight, Alex Ovechkin was honored by this Washington Capitals team and fans. There's George McPhee on the right, Alex Ovechkin on the left, celebrating his 100th point of the season. There it is against the Boston Bruins. And Alex Ovechkin, that big-time celebration for number 50 and number 100 prior to the game. The fans on their feet. All sorts of good stuff today and tonight in Fans Appreciation Day here in Washington.
Craig, how great is that picture they gave him, holding up the puck for number 50, but with the shaving cream, thanks to Jeff Halpern during a live interview on OLN, that I think Alex Ovechkin had more fun with than maybe scoring number 50. Now we've got a penalty coming up. This will be again on the Capitals, so the Atlanta Thrashers will get their second power play of the night. Brad Meyer calling a hooking penalty.
Yeah, and it's going to go against Sean Morrison down low. Looked like Hartley's player had escaped Morrison. Morrison was under control to pin him and prevent the play in the corner, but then he got lost here. Watch the forward get in there. Right there. There's a little hook. The Thrashers aggressively forechecking. That's Stefan and company really working hard in the trenches. Morrison off for hook and for the Washington Capitals.
So Atlanta didn't get much done on their first opportunity. Capitals with a good penalty kill as the Capitals come in struggling in both power play and penalty kills. Savard will set things up on the near boards. Mark Savard now decides to shoot, and that's gobbled up by Ivan Majewski on a good block by the Caps defenseman.
And that's not usually what he does. When you look at his statistics, he's only got 28 goals. 69 helpers are the big part of his game. He usually looks to pass.
If you can force Mark Savard to shoot from there, works for the Caps. Here he is again. Now looking for a guy who never hesitates to shoot, and Kovalchuk. Savard drops back down. Kovalchuk, the one-timer. Kolzig deflects that up into the netting as Kovalchuk was set up in a spot he loves to gun from.
That's a tremendous slap shot and an excellent stop by Ole Kolzig. Long range by Kovalchuk. He's got a lot of oomph on the puck, and it's a heavy, hard slap shot. Here's Savard going down low, then gives it in front. Here comes the slap shot. Just a wicked shot off that left pad. Kovalchuk likes to rotate. They work, give and goes. wipes out, gets up, tees it up. Good shot by Kovalchuk. Even better stop by Ole.
See the attention the Capitals will give him. Halpern way out high, so this box has really been extended with the threat of Kovalchuk. Some great stick work. Marian Hossa has it popped off his stick on a good stick check, and a clear by the Caps with 55 seconds now remaining in the penalty to Sean Morrison.
And his power play has really scorched the Washington Capitals. This power play for Atlanta, 16 of 57. That's close to 29%, Al, on the season set.
We said #1 on the road in power play efficiency are the Atlanta Thrashers, but having trouble here with some aggressive Capital penalty killing. Down to 30 seconds remaining before Sean Morrison is released. Here's Savard again. Dangerous pass picked off by Pettinger and out of the zone. Kovalchuk. Some fancy work. Here's Ilya Kovalchuk. Swings away. Looks to set things up. 15 seconds on the Atlanta power play. DeVries, shot, Kolzig save, cleared but not out. DeVries chases it down, throws it behind the net for former Capital Peter Bondra. Centering pass, Eminger got in the way of that, and here the Caps clear. 2 shots for the Atlanta Thrashers during that power play, second straight Capital penalty kill.
And a ton of zone time, Al, close to a minute and a half. They had excellent setup, but they couldn't get one past Ole Kolzig.
Here comes Slava Kozlov. Leaves it for Holik, and Kolzig the save, and he'll freeze it to get a face-off. We step aside. Bobby Holik was looking for his second of the game. Kolzig says no. Well, let's say you have an early bedtime. For whatever reason, you can still catch Caps games when you want with Comcast Sportsnet on demand. Comcast digital cable. Anytime is game time with Comcast Sportsnet on demand.
And it suits you just fine with all your late nights out, Al.
I said early to bed. Now,
I know, for the youngsters, not you.
Now, does coming in at 6 mean you're to bed early? I've never figured that out. Take a look at the very impressive Jim Slater. He was stopped by Ole Kolzig. Slater, a star at Michigan State. Craig, I had an opportunity a number of years ago to do a couple of his games when he was playing for the Cleveland Barons in the North American Hockey League, a league you're very familiar with.
How did you get that job?
You know, it was just on a bulletin board, apparently. But he was impressive then. The youngest player on the ice, the feistiest player, and he's fit in very nicely with this Atlanta team.
Oh, yeah, it's great speed to that older line of Mellenby and Holik. He's the go-to guy. A lot of speed on the wing.
Played a lot of center in college.
Yeah.
Now basically a wing with that good speed. Bumping hit on the near boards by Matthew Biron. Zubris battles in the corner. Stepping in is Patrick Stefan. Now Slater with a shot. That's deflected by Biron. And there is a whistle for a stoppage in play. A quick shot from Slater, and we've seen a little bit of line juggling so far from Bob Hartley with Stefan out there now with Slater. As we saw in the very beginning, Jim Slater getting the call, working with, as you mentioned, Holik and Mellon.
And Al, I think the big problem there for Hartley now is with such a great start, 11 seconds in if you're just joining us on Comcast Sportsnet, the Thrashers struck early, and that sort of set the pace for an easy coaching night possibly.
Right.
Now 2 quick goals, a change of goaltenders. Now he's really got to put on his coaching hat, and that's why there's been all these line changes for Atlanta.
Well, right now he has got the very dangerous Marian Hossa out there to match up with Pettinger, Wilsey, and Halpern for the Caps. Here is Brian Wilsey looking for Matt Pettinger. Tried to find Halpern, a little behind him. And Hossa snaps it to center, but too far for Slava Kozlov. Now the pass sends Wilsey in. Centering pass, and held up from behind to no call was Jeff Halpern, who tries to return a centering pass. And that bounces off the boards to Marian Hossa. He'll send Mark Savard away. One-on-one against Ivan Majewski. Savard backs it up. Sends it to the corner for Slava Kozlov. Savard now, high slot. Kolzig put the body to that.
Man, he put his body to it and thought he had it between the pads, but that baby right back into the high slot. Finally realized that big rebound came close to the blue line. This Atlanta Thrasher team really using that high slot to their advantage tonight.
3 tonight. Here's Ovechkin right to the gut of Michael Garnett. The Caps finally get their first shot, Craig, since they got that second goal from Matt Pettinger.
And it's the speed of Ovechkin coming up that left flank and a good little snapshot. Here he comes. on our Alexandria Buick Pontiac GMC Ovechkin. Good snapshot. Garnett gets right back into the flow. He needs some shots to get him going off the bench to replace the veteran Mike Dunham.
Very smart not to give up a rebound to the still hard-charging Alex Ovechkin. Garnett now in net for Mike Dunham, if you're just joining us, after the Caps scored 2 goals in a span of 23 seconds earlier in the period. Chris Clark comes away from a pileup in the corner. Here's Brooks Laich, one of the goal scorers, in front to Rico Fata, and he fanned on his shot. The leak finds Mellanby. The veteran Mellanby tries a little curl and drag move. Slater on the follow-up. Is Jim Slater getting some double shifting? That one went right through the crease and may have grazed the far post to the left of Ole Kolzig. Now a shot thrown in, deflects over the top of the net of Kolzig.
I think that is exactly what happened. In fact, it hit the back heel of Ole's left skate boot and ricocheted off the left pipe and out, fortunately for the Caps.
Doesn't come much closer than that. DeVries fans on it.
No, that was you got it, I got it, and then no one got it. Yeah.
DeVries settles things back down for Garnett Exelby. Slava Kozlov loses it at center ice. Michael Garnett leaves, and here come the Thrashers to break out of the zone. Speed on the wing with Kovalchuk. Here's Kovalchuk spinning around. Finds Shane Knighty. Kolzig denies that. Stefan tries to center it. That was blocked off nicely behind the net by Sean Morrison. Stefan bumped off by Majewski. Kovalchuk gathers. There's that high slot look for Peter Bondra. A save from Kolzig, and the rebound sent wide by Kovalchuk. Now Kovalchuk wheels in, tries to spin around Matt Bradley. In the corner. Kovalchuk out of traffic. Watched by Ivan Majewski. Majewski tries to eliminate him from the play. Does momentarily. Kovalchuk back up. High to McCarthy. In front. Kolzig the save. Rebound sent wide by Kozlov. Good flurry by the Atlanta Thrashers. And up ahead now is Ben Clymer. He is onside, say the linesman. Clymer with the move. Shot over high of the glove by Michael Garnett.
That was a great move against Sean Knighty into the lineup. Excellent move by Clymer. A stutter step from outside inside and had a good lane to the net. Just try to rifle it top corner.
Now a hit behind the net sends Havlid to the deck as Alex Ovechkin strikes again.
First man in, you got to take the body, and this is what this kid does. The body and goals, assists, you name it. That's Mr. Ovechkin.
Clark working with Zubris. Into the zone, and Zubris ahead of the play, an offside call. Sticks, discussions, everything going as we will get you to commercial when we come back. See if there are any further penalties as the Caps lead the Thrashers 2-1. On Fan Appreciation Day, Capital fans enjoying the 2-1 lead. 4:25 to play in this first period. Greg, they've added an assist on the Capitals' second goal, the Matt Pettinger goal, his 19th. It now reads Pettinger from Yankman and Matthew Biron.
And that was that quick D-to-D transition. Biron snapped it up to Petty. Slap shot just inside the blue line, which caused Dunham to be yanked. Atlanta getting a ton of shots against Ole. Recently, they've registered the last 9 of 10 shots against Ole Kolzig. They've been pressuring the Caps because of their forechecking, Al. They've used the high slot to their advantage. The Caps may want to bring a guy up higher to prevent guys shooting from that high slot area.
And you talked about it a moment ago in our break. Why didn't Ilya Kovalchuk just go right down the middle? And that high slot has been the danger zone.
Too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if he keeps making that decisions, that will set well with Glenn Hanlon, protecting this 2-1 lead.
And this turned into a real good rivalry, I think, between the Caps and Atlanta. Remember last game in Atlanta, Al, that late hit by Sutton? You know, that might have sparked something in this Caps team. I think they want to play a spoiler role. Plus, they want to get a win in front of their fans here.
Caps leading the all-time series, 16-11-5, and back when they had ties, one time. And that's why I think Eric Bolton may be in the lineup as well if it does get a little physical. Good play there in the high slot by Dinas Zubris on the back check. And he'll help the Caps start away. Up ahead to Ovechkin. Makes a couple fancy moves and leaves the puck behind. Regained for just a moment. And starting back is Bobby Holik. Holik eliminated by Nolan Yachtman, who's played a strong first period. Back in the middle for Nicholas Havlid. with exactly 3 minutes to play in the opening stanza. Al Koken, Craig Laughlin with you tonight. Centering pass for Dinas Zubris. Had it bounce off his stick. Now Clymer pestering Mellenby behind the net. A takeaway sent out in front. I don't know if Garnett made the save or not, but Alex Ovechkin was very dangerous there. Ovechkin had it in his skates, lost it, and here is Ilya Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk weaves to the middle. One-timer by Havlat is ripped wide.
Yeah, that just missed that left post past Ole Kolzig. Real good transition. This is a team that's really good on the rush.
Sotheby comes in, backhand shot, saved by Garnett, and then the goal comes off with that collision, and we're going to get an interference penalty, which should give the Capitals their first power play of the night.
And that was a late call by the referee. Good charge to the net by the Washington Capitals, drawing this minor penalty, but it's a late call. Look at this strong play by Sudsy, then the wipeout, then you see the 90 hit from behind, but it's a good play by Sotheby. Nice to see him back in the lineup. Watch their defenseman, 90, coming back in the lineup because Modry's unavailable to this hockey team. He was hurt in the last time these two teams met, when he was upended behind the net by Chris Clark.
Gave him a hamstring injury that keeps Yaroslav Modry out of the lineup for Bob Hartley. So Brian Sotheby did his job. We'll see if the Capitals power play unit can answer. Dinas Zubris leans in against Bobby Holik. Two big physical center icemen. Now Zubris is chased. So Jeff Halpern will come in to take this draw. Halpern, Zubris, and Ovechkin up front, along with Brian Wilsey and Brian Muir. This is Wilsey. Finds Ovechkin on the near boards. Ovechkin bothered by Alban, who's played sparingly. Nice save at the blue line by Wilsey. Muir down low. Zubris from a bad angle. Garnett got it, and he'll cover up.
And that's a real good stop right there. Now Zuby getting involved with Sutton. He's already dropped the mitts against Sutton. It's going to be interesting to see how they sort this baby up. Sutton hasn't even dropped his stick or his gloves. And we'll see how the referees see it. Sutton didn't really do anything. Gave him a little shot to the head. And then Zuby, good job though. He's a big dude. So is Sutton. It's a good job by Zuby getting involved, which has been his key, I think, because of his run with points now. He's playing physical, he's playing tough, he's using his size at the end of the play. There's the Sutton finish, the stick up, the right shot to the face, and then Zuby says, I've had enough of this stuff in front of the net. Good job by Dinas Zubris.
Well, it's going to be interesting, as we said, to see how it sorted itself out. It looks like both players are going to get coincidental penalties. So we're going to get maybe the extra. So the extra is going to be served by Eric Fair. So Dinas Zubris will get a double minor, ostensibly for roughing. And Greg, I think that's the gloves coming off is what's going to make the difference. Because you can see both guys giving each other shots to the jaw. Once Zubris dropped the gloves, however, things
Sutton
change.
just sort of went into a hold mode rather than taking another minor penalty.
So 4-on-4 hockey for another minute and 40 seconds. And this is where the Thrashers can really burn you. Here is Marian Hossa. Hossa, shot wide of the net by Havlat. Hossa gains it again. Havlat has had two good opportunities and has shot two bullets right past Kolzig. Kozlov in front, shot and a score. Beautiful play as the rotation for Steve McCarthy found him all alone in front of Kolzig, and 4-on-4 hockey has given Bob Hartley and the Thrashers a tie hockey game.
Oh, this is a team that loves the open ice. Nice pickup by Donnie Waddell to get McCarthy. He scores his 8th goal of the season, 6th with Atlanta. Just a real nice offensive-minded defenseman. There they rotated around. Watch this pass across right there. Doesn't get any better than that. Off the pipe and in. The sneaking in defenseman. Kozlov, great sight lines. That's what makes him such a great player. One more look on the reverse. There it is through 3 caps and black jerseys. A little chip shot backhand, much like the Brooks Light chip shot forehand. That beat Mike Dunham.
Now can the Caps answer? They do! How about Rico Fetta off the centering pass from Brooks Light? And bang again, the Caps have got the lead.
Wow, what a strike back. Your next shift after a goal often has to be your best. Rico Fata, nice goal. I think it's his first on home ice here for the Washington Capitals. He gets his third of the season, had a pair down in Carolina one night on the road, and now the fans going crazy here. Here it is right off the face-off again. Good rotation by the Caps. Turnover poorly done at the blue line by the big guy, DeVries. He doesn't usually give that away. And then a nice pass to the front of the net. And the Caps, just like that, a bang-bang play to get the lead back.
Goals 10 seconds apart. First by McCarthy for Atlanta, then by Rico Fata. And right back are the Caps on top by 1. Still 4-on-4 hockey for another 45 seconds and an abbreviated Atlanta power play. So open ice paying off for both sides, and when you got a speedster like Rico Fata to take advantage, it works for the Caps there. Here's Kovalchuk. Bad angle, didn't find anything. Havlat keeps in. Kovalchuk right to the stick of Brian Wilsey, and he will start ahead. Trying to work something out with Jeff Halpern, that's taken away. 45 seconds left in the period. 20 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey. Slava Kozlov with room to maneuver. To the front, kicked out by Colson. Here's Brian Wilsey weaving into the zone. Shot, and Garnett had to be very, very acrobatic to get a right arm on that. Wilsey will try again with 20 seconds left to go in the period, and the Thrashers now on a brief power play. But it's all Capitals. Pettinger with the steal, lost it behind the net to DeVries, and Kozlov will just take his time. His teammate wasn't even expecting the pass. The Caps one last opportunity with Matt Bradley off the bench. Can't get the shot away as the horn goes. A wild first period here at Verizon Center on Fan Appreciation Night. Michael Garnett replacing Mike Dunham, as we see a scoring summary that'll tell you we have had all kinds of action. A goal 11 seconds in, 2 goals 10 seconds apart, 2 goals 23 seconds apart. When we add it up, Craig, it's 3-2 Caps.
And how about Like and Fata, 2 points apiece in that first?
As we get you ready for our Pulte Homes intermission report, we'll get you right back to our Comcast Sports Night Sports Desk. Craig will have a chance to chat with one of the point producers of that first period, Brooks Like, and highlights and stats. Jill Sorensen is standing by back in Bethesda. We send it to her to give us our first Pulte Homes intermission report. If you like goals scored early, if you like goals scored in rapid succession, that first period was for you. The Washington Capitals with 10 shots on goal. The Atlanta Thrashers with 12, and it's 3-2 Caps after the opening 20 minutes. One of the stars of the show in that first period was Brooks Like. He's with our star of the show, Craig Laughlin.
Thanks, Al. And Brooks, what a wild period. 5 goals in that first. Is that the way you want to play against Atlanta?
No, we don't really want to open it up against that team. They got a lot of speed, a lot of skill over there, and it was just a wild, crazy first. They got one early, and then we were able to get 2 quick ones. So, we're definitely going to try and tighten it up here in the second and third period.
And a terrific period for yourself, a goal and an assist. Walk us through your goal and what's happening in front of the net against Mike Dunham.
That was just, Coach talks a lot about funneling pucks toward the net, and Rico got it, and he just threw it towards the net. I went to the net. I knew Rico was going to throw it there, and then there was a rebound. I just banged and then banged again at it. It's been a long time coming, but finally one went in for me. Now, you've played 72 straight games for this Caps team. You're going to join the Hershey Bears in their run for the AHL Championship. Are you looking forward to that? Definitely. That squad down there is fantastic. They're led by Bruce Boudreau, great coach. I was there at the start of the season. I know what the guys are capable of. And I think we honestly have a good shot at winning, going to the Calder Cup finals there. I'm definitely excited going there. Going home from here, it would be too long of a summer. So I look forward to playing with those guys when I see them, and hopefully we'll take a run at it. Brooks, thanks for the visit. Thank you. All right, Brooks Like, our guest here on Comcast Sportsnet. Stick around, a lot more stuff straight ahead as our Pulte intermission rolls along.
The Washington Capitals in a wild first period have grabbed a 1-goal lead, 3-2 over the Atlanta Thrashers. 20 minutes into it tonight here on Fan Appreciation Day and on Comcast Sportsnet. Al Koch and Craig Laughlin with you. And Matt Pettinger was one of the Capitals to get a goal in that first period, number 19 of the year for Matt Pettinger. Before the game, we talked to his coach, Glenn Hanlon, about how nice it would be to have Matt Pettinger and company add to the other Capital 20-goal scorers already this year.
It really would, especially for the players that have not reached it. Both Pettinger and Wilsey have a chance, and I don't really see Jeff Halpern playing in the middle there, getting a pass from either one of those guys if it's a two-on-one. So they'll have their opportunities to score. They're both on the power play, and I know Pettinger's had a couple of opportunities and hasn't managed to get the job done. But we're, for someone like myself, I've had Pettinger now for close to 5 years, and I think at times we were waiting for this to happen, and now we can hardly wait for it to happen.
So, Craig, with Matt Pettinger getting number 19, we see a chance now with a game and 2 periods to play for Brian Wilsey to join him, as well as to get up to that group with Ovechkin, Zubris, and Clark.
Yeah, that would be great for this hockey team. The most players with 18-plus since 99-2000. Down in the American Hockey League in Hershey, they have 6 20-goal getters. They've had a terrific year. The Caps doing likewise with 20 goal getters around the corner.
So when we come back, we'll take a look at some amazing highlights from that first period. Caps and Thrashers. It's 3-2 Washington. Back on December 22nd, the Caps and Thrashers had a 5-goal first period. On that date, it was 3-2 Atlanta after 20. Tonight, it's the Capitals by that same margin, up 1. Al Koken and Craig Laughlin back with you. A very odd first period, Craig, and made even odder by the fact that Mike Dunham did not last barely 5 minutes yanked. Do you think there's a possibility Bob Hartley just wanted to calm him down and could bring him back?
I think he could. I think on one of the late shots there, Garnett might have got banged up a little bit. He's been having groin problems all season long, so you may look for Dunham to go back. That is not Patrick Wash-type goaltending. That was poor goaltending by the Thrasher 2 netminders. If Dunham returns, he has to be his veteran self if they're going to get points tonight.
As we take a look at our Geico highlights, the way this game started, it looked like it would be Dunham and the Thrashers easily. 11 seconds in, right off the face-off, Bobby Hulik found a flaw in the Caps' D.
And it's a hard around that's not hard enough. Mellenby, the veteran, good snare of the puck. There's the snapshot to the top corner. A well-read play by Atlanta all around. They found that soft spot, Hulik to the roof.
But a short time later, it was Brooks Light working with Rico Fata.
And it's a good play by Brooks Light to stay with it. He got 2 whacks at it and put it upstairs. The key there, the key words, funneling. Funnel the puck to the net, good things happen. Light made sure he chipped that baby home.
Then just 23 seconds later, in his quest for his 20th goal, Matt Pettinger got number 19.
And it's a good D-to-D rotation. Youngman to Biron to Pettinger. And there's that softy. That means Dunham's out. Petty's closing in on goal number 20.
Some 4-on-4 hockey for Atlanta, and Steve McCarthy made the Caps pay.
And what a find he's been for Donnie Waddell. He fits in nicely. He's not very big, but he has an offensive mind when it comes to defense. Nice play by Kozlov, who always has an eye for the puck. Good sense of urgency to put it on the backhand.
So the game was tied at 2, and that lasted, 10 seconds.
And you don't see too many mistakes by a veteran like DeVries, but Mr. DeVries makes a mistake, like to Fata. Fata gets his first goal at Verizon Center, but it's all because of the pressure of Brooks, like our guest, that leads to that DeVries turnover.
So 3-2 Capitals on the goals. As we take a look at our Volvo game stats, shots pretty even, and the power play certainly the advantage of the Thrashers.
And a lot of hits in that period. It was a rambunctious period between these two clubs. 21 hits combined. Power plays could be a factor as this game rolls along out.
So how do we follow a wild first period? We'll stay tuned. We'll get to the second when we come back on Comcast Sportsnet. Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Capitals hockey is brought to you by your Toyota dealer, where you'll find the ride of your life. Toyota, moving forward. A beautiful night in the nation's capital. A look at right around the corner from Verizon Center in Chinatown. The streets are filled. This building is rocking as well, as the Washington Capitals have opened up a 3-2 lead over the Atlanta Thrashers 20 minutes into this hockey game.
And as I expected, Al, they're going to make a change in net for the Atlanta Thrashers. Yeah, you look at Mike Dunham, he's going to get the nod back in the twine. He only lasted 4 minutes and 15 seconds. He allowed 2 goals on 5 shots, was yanked. Garnett played 15:45, and he looked pretty stellar and solid other than that 1 shot. But he's a guy now that Dunham has to take over for Garnett.
Greg, let's be honest. This is do or die for Bob Hartley and the Atlanta Thrashers. If you're going to lose tonight, lose with your best. Don't try and take a gamble at this point, so I don't think that's a real shock at all. You did call it, but I think Bob Hartley has got to know he needs his best as the Thrashers come out trying to answer what they did in the first with a quick shot. That one by Jim Slater, just sailing wide.
And Garnett not even on the bench now, so that means he banged up probably his groin, which he's had on and off problems all season long with.
Here's Kolzig with the stop on Holik, so maybe it's not a decision to try and go with a more experienced goaltender. Maybe he has no other alternative. Ole Kolzig with the stop, and Bob Hartley, you know, he's a very superstitious guy. In the pregame skate this morning, before he met with the media, they were going to move him down outside his office. He said, no. Last time we were here when we got a victory, I did it right here. Go get the camera crew, tell them to come on back down. So maybe there's a little bit of superstition involved in some of these decisions.
And he's a fiery sort behind the bench and in the locker room, I'm sure. Probably a few things to say to his hockey club. A little more desperation may be in order for this Atlanta team.
Another face-off win by the Thrashers. They did a good job in that first period. Majewski, Morrison battle behind the net with Kozlov and Savard. Centering pass, and Hossa couldn't get a stick on that. Now Marian Hossa tries to move away from Brian Sotheby. Gets the steal again. Quick work, Kozlov. Goal line, pass to Hossa. And that was partially deflected on some good coverage by Brian Sotheby.
And that's what makes Kozlov so great. He's so good at moving the puck and finding guys that are wide open. Hook and call coming against the Washington Capitals.
It should be the second on Matt Bradley.
Yeah, it will be. And it's a hook on the forecheck. So not a good penalty by Matt Bradley. Schick making the call. He's waiting for the signal. He's going to call a big hook. And Bradley in the box at 1:04. Take a look at the regroup here. Notice Exelby getting back. There comes the stick. Not too bad of a lift check there. Maybe should have got away with that one. Got a good piece of the stick.
Absolutely.
I thought you're allowed to use a lift check in this game.
Certainly on the forecheck, you certainly should be allowed to do a little bit of that. I didn't see much of the body at all, but Rob Schick saw it differently. And the Atlanta Thrashers now with their 4th power play of the evening. Only 3 shots on their previous 3 power plays tonight. Kovalchuk had the trigger cock, couldn't connect on that very, very quick pass from Bobby Holik.
And that was miscommunication right there. Kovalchuk was waiting for the one-timer, and he was making a pass. So that catches you in between. You could tell by Kovalchuk's expression, he was none too pleased with the way that worked out.
Now a pass from Kozlov, normally very sure with the puck, was well behind the intended target. So a very sloppy beginning to this power play for the Atlanta Thrashers. 1:10 to go in the Matt Bradley hooking call. Kozlov uses it behind the boards. Instead, it bounces over the stick of Hossa and right down from Brian Muir onto Mike Dunham. So the first bit of the Caps penalty has been killed off very smartly. Thrashers now with Kovalchuk moving in. Wrist shot, and Kolzig got the blocker on that.
That's all about release. Good pull of the trigger there by Kovalchuk. Trying to catch Ole Kolzig, moving just a little bit. Try to put it in his body. Try to beat him between the blocker and his pad.
So used to seeing Kovalchuk with that big full windup and the slapper there. As you said, the quick release made Kolzig have to react very, very quickly. Marian Hossa settles things down. DeVries to the front. Deflection try by Mellenby. Second save by Kolzig as he denied the veteran Mellenby. Now a pass back to the point. Way out of the reach of Greg DeVries. And an easy clear there helps the Caps get fresh troops on with 15 seconds left in the Matt Bradley call. And an offside will help even further.
It was a great pass if it was meant for the goalie Dunham. It was right on the tape. Kovalchuk and Hossa held off the board in that first period. 5 goals, and when those guys aren't involved, that's a good sign. Hossa has lit up the Caps in the 7 games he's played against them. He has somewhere around 18 points. He just seems to score a lot when he plays the Caps.
In 29 previous games, Marian Hossa with 18 goals, 20 assists.
That'll do it.
Against the Washington Capitals. So, as you mentioned, he has got 8 goals coming in on the season or career-wise, against the Washington Capitals. So he has been a cap killer. They kept him in check so far. Penalty is up. Matt Bradley is out of the box, so another good penalty kill for the Washington Capitals. As Rico Fata, a goal scorer, looks for more, and Dunham makes a very awkward then acrobatic save on a blast by Rico Fata. Craig, do not tell me he's a confident-looking goaltender.
Well, he's made one stop in this period, about 160 feet. Now this one off the flank makes a long shot look tough. So Dunham maybe bouncing around a little bit, struggling. Here comes that long-range shot. But notice how that baby was knuckleballing.
Okay.
I mean, you couldn't get any better than that than Phil Niekro throwing that baby. Look at that. Al, that's hard to stop.
Now that's a better save
yes,
when you saw that on the replay.
The way he took that shot, the way it got rolling on him, that's a heck of a stop.
Phil Niekro, man, you kept it into Atlanta as well. Thought maybe you dropped Hoyt Wilhelm in there, but Phil Niekro, very nicely done.
That's so great because I didn't even know he played there.
He's all over it, ladies and gentlemen, as is Scott Mellenby. In, tries to deke Kolzig and send it wide.
Yeah, he was surprised that he had a breakaway. Everybody went away from the net, and Mellenby stopped skating and just cruised in. He didn't know what to do, shoot or deke.
Scott Mellenby, one of those veteran players that Bob Hartley has leaned on. Now Slater with the speed. And a shot. Great save, Kolzig, as Slater got a good shot away despite falling down. Kolzig another answer. And Ole Kolzig has come out sharp in this second period to keep the Caps up one.
And Schick was very close to raising his arm for a trip. Got away with one.
Hossa in, stops, and loses control of the puck. Marian Hossa, the most dangerous of the Atlanta Thrashers, as we documented when it comes to playing the Caps, had a golden opportunity. Ovechkin battles in the corner. Zubra steps in against Hossa, swung around by Savard. Now it comes to center ice for Steve Eminger. Eminger fires it right back in. Dunham couldn't stop it. First to it, however, is Nicholas Havlat, and the ice time leader for the Thrashers pays the price as he is decked again by Ovechkin. Shots on goal favoring the Atlanta Thrashers by 6. Chris Clark chopped away off his stick. No one back there as the Caps were changing on the defense, and Patrick Stefan motors back in to Hossa. Good defensive play there by the slick Sean Morrison to poke it away.
Yeah, that's an excellent poke check. Hossa was trying to weed his way through the neutral zone and then through the gut of the high slot. When he got the puck, he tried to make a couple of shake and bake moves, but Morrison didn't bite on it.
Great mobility, great stick. Sean Morrison is featured all year long as Kolzig grabs it and holds for the faceoff.
In the first period, we talked about the goaltenders. Both Dunham and Garnett had some playing time. Well, here's where he was hurt. The shot from Wilsey. Notice him kick out that right leg. Very slow on getting up. One more look. That leg flashed out. He caught that baby with the blocker. There's the grimace in pain. He has not returned to the bench. Therefore, Dunham has had to come back in after getting pulled early on by Bob Hartley.
You can see why you and Joe are spoiled by our great Comcast Sportsnet crew, finding that in the videotape archives, and it's a critical moment in this hockey game. So we'll see if Mike Dunham can bounce back with a second chance. Now a deflection, and that just goes wide of Dunham, as in front causing trouble with Ben Clymer. Big hit by Sotheby rattles the puck loose. Matt Bradley hits the deck, and the Thrashers clear. Morrison watching Peter Bondra. Thrown back in, line change underway for Hartley and the Thrashers. 14 minutes to play in this second period. Capitals ahead 3-2. Majewski looking for Clymer. He'll chop it into the Atlanta zone and head to the bench. On the forecheck is Matt Bradley. Now it's Sergei Ban. Limited playing time. Working out there with Garnett Exelby. And this fourth line now has Eric Bolton charging into the Washington end. Bolton ridden into the boards by Matthew Biron. While Ban tries to pry the puck free from behind the net. Sweeping attack, and that just goes through the crease and wide. Exelby activates from the defense. Another bad angle shot deflects off Kolzig and back into the corner. Exelby with plenty of room. Fires and scores!
Real good shot by Exelby, moving that puck D to D. Ole through the screen. Couldn't pick that baby up. Good pressure. Prior to this play, Majewski off to the bench. He was clipped up high by Bolton. No penalty called, and the Oban line gets it done. They're an energy line that has tied up this hockey game.
As we see Ivan Majewski getting attention on the Capitals bench, but the first goal of this season from Garnet Exelby, and it's a big one to tie this game at 3.
Yeah, 87 games ago was his last goal against New Jersey. That's over a season ago. And Exelby, what a slap shot. That's why he's so proud of that goal. There it is. First goal since February 27th, 04. It's a long goalless drought. You need guys like Exelby and other guys other than the main characters that we always talk about, Hossa, Kovalchuk, Kozlov and company, to chip in if you want to make the playoffs.
Well, what have we seen tonight? Brooks Lack, Rico Fata, Yonkman, Biron. Now you got Exelby with a big goal to get things back even for Atlanta. So how will the Caps respond to this? They've answered everything else Atlanta's thrown at him very quickly. Jim Slater tries to make Ole Kolzig pay, but Kolzig with the glove and the net off its moorings. Gives us a chance to step aside. Exelby beating Kolzig, game tied 3. The Thrashers have drawn even at 3 apiece. And Craig, this Washington area with some great young hockey talent. You want to talk about one in particular.
Yeah, Michael Clemente, a tremendous goaltender. I've had an opportunity to work with him. And he's from the junior Caps, and he was selected for the U.S. 17 national team in Ann Arbor. He's going to be heading out there. He's a big goaltender. He's had a tremendous season, not only for the Caps, but also for high school. He's won a couple of championships on the high school stage. He's a big goaltender that challenges well. He's going to be well served playing in Ann Arbor, and he's had great coaching. Mark Tenorti was his coach this season, and he took him all the way to the semifinals.
Well, that development program in Ann Arbor has produced a lot of great players. In fact, the player many say could be the #1 pick in this upcoming draft, Eric Johnson, a big defenseman, plays exactly for that U.S. national program.
Exactly, and also a guy like Steven Werner, a guy that we're going to see in a Caps uniform in the not-too-distant future.
Chevy Chase, Maryland native, has picked up a few points in his brief time with Hershey. He'll be ready for the Bears on Wednesday as they get going with the Norfolk Admirals. But right now, we've got 12 minutes, 25 seconds to play, period 2. The Atlanta Thrashers must win tonight to keep their playoff hopes alive. They have tied the Capitals on an icing call here as the touch-up on Brian Muir. The shots in this period, Atlanta pouring it on 11-2 over the Caps, and they have dominated right now in the face-off department as the young man Garnet Exelby, who is a great story in his own right, 8th round pick, 217th player overall by Atlanta back in '99, and he has become one of those physical presences on the blue line that the Thrashers have been looking for a couple of years.
And that's exactly why they have him. I mean, he's that type of guy. I sort of reminds me of a young Lyle Oline, the way he plays. You know, he's not going to get you a lot of points, not a whole lot of goals. They have him, and in the minors, in the American Hockey League, they have Braden Colburn, who's also supposed to be a tough customer in the years to come to join this Atlanta Thrasher team.
And another young defenseman named Boris Valabrick, who is about 6 feet 8 or 9 inches tall, a Zdeno Chara clone, they hope. We talked about the importance of this game for the Atlanta Thrashers, and you see right now if the Thrashers win out, and if they were to tie Montreal, for example, they would have the tiebreaker over Montreal. But they would have to get some help, because if they have a tie with the Tampa Bay Lightning, who the Capitals will play tomorrow night, the Lightning will win in the tie. So Bob Hartley says, we don't really worry about the tiebreakers. We need our 4 points, and we'll let everything else fall his way.
Well, they have to run out #1, and #2, they need help. The Montreal Canadiens, though, they've struggled recently. And remember, they're playing the New Jersey Devils now, who've won 10 in a row and are looking for first overall.
Could Lou Lamoriello get Coach of the Year consideration?
I don't know. Not for half a season.
Okay. He's turned that franchise around behind the bench, however.
Although I might be wise to say he will. He's pretty powerful.
We know we're certainly having good viewership tonight in Tampa, where the Lightning are watching this game very, very closely to see if the Capitals can help the Lightning cause out to get back into the postseason as the defending Stanley Cup champs. Now chipped up into the Capitals bench, and that will get a stoppage in play with 11:19 to go. So far, relatively quiet night for #8.
Yeah, they've really been rolling the 4 lines. The Capitals haven't had a whole lot of power plays. Alex Ovechkin is generating some speed down the flank. this second period, to me, a lot different than the first. I thought the first period a lot more free flow, a lot of passing, a lot of skating. This period slowed down a little bit between the blue lines in particular.
When you talk about speed, it's Peter Bondra, and he beats Ole Kolzig. So Peter Bondra, blowing past the Caps D, scores goal number 498 of his career, and it's 4-3 Thrashers.
Well, the new NHL is all about speed. Peter Bondra, Alex Ovechkin, guys like that all have tremendous speed. And when you're going with speed down the wing, it's so important to use your speed wide. Here he does against Morrison. Morrison has the angle on him, but then it's the inside move. Watch Peter Bondra get the inside left shoulder past Morrison. Morrison at one point had the pivot perfectly timed. Then Bondra lost him in the wash a little bit. Had he pivoted just a fraction of a second sooner, Al, he would have had Peter and drilled him into the corner.
And that is Sean Morrison, who is the most fluid and best capital skating defenseman. So Peter Bondra still with some pretty good speed to get his 21st of the year. So 2 goals by the Atlanta Thrashers in this period. One by Garnet Exelby, his first of the year. This one by Peter Bondra, his 21st. And the Thrashers now on top of the Caps by a 4-3 score.
And they're getting all the shots. They've really forechecked aggressively, and they've had good transition. They've outshot the Caps 10-2 in this period.
And with Mike Dunham having a shaky beginning to this hockey game and coming in, the Caps have yet to really find out if his head is still in the game with only those 2 shots you mentioned, Craig.
Maybe Hartley's message between period is, hey guys, let's not allow our goalies any shots on net. They're shaky.
And then they're listening to the coach here. As we approach the midway mark of this hockey game, Savard plays blue line to blue line. Now looks for a return cross-ice pass. He's the first to it and gets pounded into the boards. Another snarly mood of the Washington Capitals now with Steve Eminger trying to get something going physically. Paired up with Brian Muir, and Muir dumps a Thrasher player right in front of Rob Schick. They'll allow play to continue. Here's Chris Clark looking to make something happen. Little floater softened by Andy Sutton on the way in. Here's Ovechkin to the front of the net. That hits Zubris. Centering pass just out of the reach of Ovechkin.
Great play by Dinah Zubris and Alex Ovechkin. Good opportunities down low to the left of Dunham. A good rotation. The more Zubris and Ovechkin skate down low, the more they create. They're an overlapping type pair with speed that cause real problems for the defense.
Greg, you and Joe have seen it all year, how well those two read off each other. And it's not just the fact that they both speak Russian, but there's great instincts as well. Alex Ovechkin quiet so far. His Caps are down by 1. Canon Business Solutions is a Canon USA company providing best-in-class document management solutions for all your office technology needs. It's Canon Business Solutions, Washington's source for document management. 9:23 to go in period 2. Al Koken, Craig Laughlin with you tonight here on Comcast Sportsnet. Atlanta Thrashers on top by 1 with 2 goals in this second period and badly outshooting the Washington Capitals by a 10-2 margin in the period.
Now the referee and linesman talking about where that puck was shot from. If it's inside the blue line,
penalty.
It's a penalty for delay of game against the Caps. That's why they're having this discussion over at the box. Even if it's in 1 inch, it's a minor penalty. And that's why the referee's moving the faceoff inside. Hanlon's team will be penalized for a delay of game. Let's see where it is. Here it is off the faceoff. Good work, Oban. The Caps win the draw. There's Sotheby. Here comes the shot. And indeed, that's a perfect mark by the referee. Yonkman, you could see his face say, uh-oh, I did it. And he did. He's in the box. A good call by the officiating crew.
So the Thrashers back on the power play, an opportunity to add to their lead. The Capitals have been perfect so far in their penalty killing this evening. Savard looking for Kovalchuk again off the mark. They have had a difficult time making that pass successfully. Savard swings on the right wing side to Marian Hossa. Marked by Sean Morrison. McCarthy, who's got a goal tonight, works it back down to Hossa. And now Savard sets up shop. Kovalchuk has the trigger cocked on the near boards. Looking for that pass. Right now it's just Hossa and McCarthy playing catch. Back down to Savard.
There's a great battle going on in front of the net.
Mellenby in front, and Kovalchuk finally did unload. And Ole Kolzig got enough of that to stop play, with Mellanby and Morrison exchanging shoves.
That was a beauty of a shot by Kovalchuk. A great stop by Ole. He has to move laterally to stop this bomb. Here comes the shot. There's the big cock, and that's an excellent stop. See where that caught Ole? Ole had to quickly close the blocker against his body. Caught the inside there. Great battle, as you mentioned, Al, between Morrison and Mellanby, the veteran. He's very sneaky and creative in front of the net.
That is exactly what Scott Mellanby has done his entire career, be a pain in the corners and in the front of the net. And with these gunners he's got, what a perfect position to be in if you're ready to take that punishment. McCarthy works it back in. Nice sweep check away, and the Capitals will clear and get fresh troops on with 50 seconds to go in the delay of game penalty to Nolan Yonkman.
And that's all about versatility to Dinas Zubris and his long reach, able to get that puck down the ice because of the stretch of the arm.
Now Clark, the first denial, held in nicely. Kozlov unloads, misses the net. Here's Clark to try again. Taken away from him. Eminger with an attempt. Clark can't get it out yet. Runs the point man Kovalchuk from a bad angle. Kozlov on, or Peter Bonder, fires. Hit the side of the net on Kolzig. 15 seconds left in the Atlanta power play. Working on the perimeters, the Caps have done a good job of keeping that slot protected. McCarthy finally got the puck after it was deflected by Bradley. 5 seconds left. Nolan Yonkman on his feet, ready to go. Havlin down low to McCarthy. To Holik. Kolzig another save just as the penalty expires, and more shoving in front of Ole Kolzig on Bobby Holik.
Now Holik's tried to set shop up in front of the net all night long. They've worked a nice down low pass that goes from the D to down low to in the slot. You're just joining us on Comcast Sportsnet. Here's the 2 goals this period. Long slap shot by Exelby. Notice the screen in front. Hip, hip, hooray. He's happy because he broke a long drought. And then Peter Bonder on a good power move to the net. That's the difference in this game, giving Atlanta a 1-goal lead.
And it's amazing, Craig, they really have not looked sharp on the power play, where the Thrashers, as we talked about, are so dominant, tied for 5th in the league. Power play efficiency, 1st overall in road power play success. So give credit to the Capital penalty killers on that. This game could be a much more challenging task for the Capitals to come back in if Atlanta had gotten something going with the extra man. Now Majewski working as he battles again with Hossa. Shot from Stefan, and there's going to be a penalty and another Capital call, this one for interference. So right now the Atlanta Thrashers with another opportunity to add to their lead.
Well, Slater and the Atlanta Thrashers have been going aggressively against Ole Kolzig. Anytime there's been a loose puck, Slater and company have been driving the net. Here's the play by Hossa. Here comes the shot. There's the clean out in front. That's a pretty easy call. In the old days, that's easy go, easy come, easy go. That happened all the time. Now, Al, any type of kabongs in front of the net to take a guy off his feet lands you in the penalty box.
So we'll see what the Capital penalty killers have in store this time, as you see the marks for Atlanta on 5 power plays, just 7 shots.
And that's terrific job. You've mentioned it. The penalty killing has been terrific and has not been great all season long. It's cyclical, and tonight they're on their A game, keeping everything to the outside. They look in disarray because of the way the Caps are penalty killing.
And remember, twice now it's been Sean Morrison in the box, who will absolutely be out there on most of the penalty kill on defense. But there's another great read by Chris Clark, and he'll start away 2-on-1. He lost his stick, however, and needs help from Jeff Halpern. Halpern now finally gathers the bouncing puck in. What a bad break for the Capitals, as Chris Clark and Jeff Halpern almost were away with an odd man break.
The only time that would help is if you played a lot of soccer as a youth.
Here's Kovalchuk, tries to send it to the front of the net. Right there to read that perfectly was the big man Ivan Majewski.
I sense Kovalchuk pressing a little bit in this game, Al.
He doesn't really look like he knows what he wants to do with the puck. Such great goal-scoring instincts, obviously, with 52 goals. But there is this a long dump in where you'd think Ilya Kovalchuk would try and get something generated with his speed. Now Savard tries to set things up for the Thrashers. Majewski working out there with Matt Pettinger. Remember, Pettinger with 5 shorthanded goals. Kovalchuk unloads. Kolzig the save. Another shot and a great save by Ole Kolzig as he kicked out that left skate and pad. And here's the reward from the crowd. Brilliant work in there by Ole Kolzig, as that time Kovalchuk did know what he wanted to do. Now Greg DeVries dances along the blue line. Down low for Hossa. He has trouble. Taken down to the ice by Brian Muir. Hossa comes away with it again. Quick shot just misses on the far post. Out of the box comes Morrison. Kolzig again. Acrobatic in that cage to keep the Thrashers away. And more great penalty killing rewarded by the applause of the Caps fans as Ole Kolzig will gather for the faceoff. Ole and the penalty killers hearing it. The Caps stay within one.
Penalty killing the difference here in this period. The Caps could be down by a couple. Hossa works to the point. Kovalchuk hard blast. There it is on the doorstep. And the flip up by Savard. Good opportunities. Ole Kolzig scrambling all over the place, keeping the Capitals in this hockey game.
As he has made 24 saves tonight against the Atlanta Thrashers. And has had some help when it comes to penalty killing in front of him. And Ole doing the best job. Here is Ovechkin. Can't get the shot on track. Now tries to chase it down. It walks it wide. Ovechkin in just his 15th shift of the night. Only 8 minutes and 13 seconds before that. And now we've got a battle in front of the Capital net with Ovechkin right in the middle of it all.
And Dainis Zubris already involved. Dainis Zubris really playing a tough physical game. There's OV with the collar around his neck by Bobby Holik. Muir involved. Everybody right at the Caps bench. A lot of pushing and shoving still going on. There's Dainis once again in the middle of it.
There was going to be a penalty call before that scrap ensued, and you saw Scott Mellenby, the guy who was tangled up, who were once teammates with the Philadelphia Flyers when Dainis Zubris was a young man. And Scott Mellenby being ushered now to the Atlanta bench.
And here comes Havlid right here. They were going to call that a penalty. I don't see that as a penalty right there. Here's the Ovechkin brought to you by Alexandria Buick Pontiac GMC. There's the hack and whack along the wall. I don't buy that first penalty. I didn't think Fata got that stick up on Havlid. I thought that was a good finish. You haven't seen him in the box. There's a couple of thrash in the box. Havlid's the guy getting it. And Mellenby, because Havlid got his stick up on Fata, who ran him. And the Caps, when they play physical like this, that's a big part of their game.
And Dainis Zubris right now the lone Washington Capital in the penalty box. So with Zubris, who was in the penalty box in the first period with a double minor for roughing, he continues his rather abrasive style. And even though Alexander Ovechkin doesn't need a lot of protection as a physical player, to have guys like Dainis Zubris and Chris Clark on that line to make sure nothing happens to number 8. So Zuby stepping in there. We're still waiting to see.
I don't think too many guys in the NHL, though, want to mess around with Alex Ovechkin. He's pretty tough. It's a Caps power play here with the extra minor penalty going against Havlid. That was the initial high stick. Then coincidental minor roughing calls will end up crossing out. So the Caps go to the power play.
Nothing on the board yet. We're waiting to see exactly who will get the penalty that the Capitals will be on the power play for. But they've got 5 skaters out as we see Atlanta with a domination on the shot department. 28-12 overall for the game. So a little something to cheer about for the Verizon Center crowd on Fan Appreciation Day. Washington Capital power play. We'll get to work. And getting some additional work is one of the goal scorers, Brooks Laich. He is out there working with Alex Ovechkin. And up front is Jeff Halpern. On the back, it's Brian Wilsey along with Brian Muir. And here is Ovechkin to find the Capital captain. Swings it back to Muir. He walks into a better angle. That shot gobbled up on top by Andy Sutton. From the corner, back to the point. Muir whips it over to Wilsey, who's walked down. Centering pass, and Laich had a deflection that just went wide. Now a little give and go between Halpern and Ovechkin. Ovechkin puts on the brakes, finds Muir, over to Wilsey. Cross ice just misses on the connection for Alex Ovechkin, and a clear on the penalty kill by Brad Larson. 1 minute 10 seconds to go in the Capital power play. It's Havlid is the man who is going to get the penalty call that the Caps will work against. Brooks Laich Tries to find it himself. Instead it goes right to the Thrashers, and they will clear. Now a dangerous moment, 2-on-1. Here comes Kozlov, working with Hossa. Stopped in front by Muir and Kolzig before it ever got to Marian Hossa.
Well, you don't want to let him get the puck in any type of situations. On the shorthanded situation, he leads all NHLers in shorties with 7, one up on Vermette from Ottawa.
That is a dangerous combination of Slava Kozlov and Marian Hossa.
Quite the saucer pass by Kozlov.
But some good reaction there by Brian Muir to read that. 25 seconds to go on the Caps' man advantage. Here is Pettinger. He's got one tonight, his 19th of the year, but instead it goes right onto the stick of Brad Larson, and he'll make the Caps chase. Starting from behind his own cage, it's Matthew Biron. He goes tape to Matt Pettinger. Brian Sotheby, centering pass off the mark. Eminger chases down with 2 seconds left on the power play. Out comes Havlin. We're back at 5-on-5. Cap still with some room to operate. Biron to the front, kicked out by Dunham, and another penalty against the Atlanta Thrashers. So Washington goes right back to the power play off a hooking call.
And that's good pressure. Anytime you're on a power play late stages, you know the PKers are dog tired. They continue to put some pressure on him. Because of that, it lands DeVries in the box. The hooking call when he tried to move his feet, couldn't get him moving. Here's a look at the DeVries penalty. Check right behind the net. Here he comes. There's the wrap. There's the hook into the hands. The veteran DeVries not getting away with that hook to the hands. He has a seat for Hartley's team.
We've got 1 minute and 58 seconds remaining in the second period. So the Capitals should, unless there are further infractions, ride this period out with a man advantage, and a bouncing puck couldn't be kept in by Ben Clymer. Clymer and Muir now working the points. Zubris out of the box and in some power play duty as Ovechkin snaps a wrist shot that's eaten away at Dunham. Kolzig will play and leave it from behind his net. Quick shot by Alex Ovechkin. Greg, you have seen it all year. No matter where he is, he never hesitates to release the NHL shot leader.
Well, it always catches goalies off guard. He's just got quite a release, and he's got so much power behind it. He is so strong with his wrists and his forearms that he can snap it, which a lot of other NHL players simply can't do. It's the strength factor.
I say he's eaten up on the goaltenders. It's like a third baseman who has a shot come at him, and it eats him up. His quick release is amazing, and the accuracy to go. Back to the point. Muir finds Clymer with 1 minute to go in the period. Now low at Zubris, cross ice looking for a deflection in front for Halpern. Nice save in by Muir. Clymer to Halpern. Here's Ovechkin, another shot, and that just missed the mark. Alex Ovechkin with a couple of good looks during this power play. One saved by Dunham, one he tried to pick the corner and miss.
Unlucky for Alex Ovechkin. The puck got rolling of him, got caught in the curve of his stick, and he shot it short side, just missed by about 6 inches.
Missing on that connection was a pass to Ovechkin from Muir with 24 seconds remaining in the period. Now Kozlov back out for some penalty kill duty, puts it into the stands, but it will not be a delay of game call with 18.5 to go, and Alex Ovechkin a little frustrated on a couple of good scoring opportunities.
Yeah, he's had a lot of pucks this period around the twine, just hasn't been able to connect. Here's his opportunity just moments ago. Clymer working the point, nice little saucer pass through, gets down to Halpern, and there's that snapper. Notice the puck rolling a little bit, might have caught a little bit of the D stick there. Alex Ovechkin continues to impress throughout his NHL season. 103 points, going for goal number 52 in his season.
Well, when he gets going, he is a tough man to stop once he gets a little momentum. And he has been on the goal-scoring jag as of late to get himself high into those rookie goal-scoring records. As the period ends, a long shot down onto Dunham. And Mike Dunham salvaged what was a very shaky night so far. As we see in the second period, Exelby getting his first of the year from DeVries and Alban, and Peter Bondra from Patrick Stefan, and some solid goaltending by Mike Dunham, if not spectacular.
And upcoming, our Pulte second intermission report. We'll head back to the Sports Night Sports Desk. I hope to have alongside Rico Fata and highlights and stats out.
So as Brian Muir and company head to the bench down by 1, we will get you ready for our Pulte Homes intermission report. Back to Bethesda we go and say hello to Russ Thaler. Desperate to keep their playoff hopes alive, the Atlanta Thrashers get the only 2 goals of the second period. They've now moved on top of the Washington Capitals 4-3 after 40. Rico Fata has gotten one of the goals tonight for the Washington Capitals. He's standing by with Craig Lachlan.
Thanks, Al. And Rico, that period, it seemed like you guys had a tough time generating shots. Was that your case, or are they doing something different to you guys?
Well, they do a really good job in the neutral zone. They play a really neutral zone type of game where they have a quick transition. They want to get the puck up to their forwards as quick as they can. They got some pretty skilled forwards over there, so they trap up that neutral zone pretty good. And it's up to us to try to chip the puck behind their defenseman and try to get a little bit more of a forecheck and create some more offense. After the blue line.
Now you've had a great game, a goal and an assist. The importance of driving the middle lane. Walk through your goal and tell the kids and the fans watching out there the importance of that.
Well, Brooks Lake made a great play, forced the defenseman here to make a good play, and I just saw that there was an opportunity for me to go to the net, and I just banged my stick and tried to go to the net and just redirect it. I just tried to go right to the net as fast as I could, and Brooksy made a great play to me, so it was all Brooksy there.
Giving a lot of credit to your line mate. Now, you've played your 20th game tonight for the Caps. It looks to me from up here you're getting a lot more comfortable. Is that the case?
I think so. The coaching staff is put a little bit more responsibility in me. And when I first came here, my minutes were about 4 or 5 minutes a game, and I had to gain the trust of my coaches. And I think that's that's what they wanted. They wanted me working hard and having respect for the guys in the room and playing as hard as I can. And that's what I try to bring to the table every night is good speed and trying to get it in the forecheck and working as hard as I can.
Now, seeing goaltenders go in and out, Garnett and then Dunham, is that a difference for you guys? And what are you guys thinking on the bench?
I don't think we're really thinking too much. I think that Dunham for the most part has played well, but he's from the long shots he struggled a little bit. So we're just like we said earlier, we want to get the puck to the net and try to shoot and try to get some rebounds. There's some rebounds out there, so we're going to try to look for those.
Well, best of luck in the third, Rico.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, Rico Fata, our guest here on Comcast Sportsnet. Stick around, a lot more stuff right around the corner as the Pulte intermission rolls along.
The Atlanta Thrashers threw 16 shots on Ole Kolzig, giving the Caps 16-5 in that second period. They got both of the goals, and they lead 4-3 over the Washington Capitals in the Capitals' final home regular season game. Capitals still have one more game to go. It's on the road against Vinny Lecavalier and company, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Another game that could decide who gets in to that 8th spot of the Eastern Conference. So Brent Johnson, Ole Kolzig and company will have their work cut out tomorrow as Marty St. Louis and company will be ready to roll. Of course, for Glenn Hanlon, he just wants to see his team finish the season in style. And to this point, the Capital coach has been very, very proud of the effort he has seen.
I don't think that there can be many fans out there on most nights saying that we didn't give everything that we had. And after that, I think if it's your team or if it's the players that you coach or if it's your children, as long as they try as hard as they can and they go at it enthusiastically, I think they're quite happy.
Well, that's why we expect a good third period ahead. But before we get to that, I'll rejoin Craig and take a look at the highlights of that second period. It's the Thrashers by 1 over the Washington Capitals. 40 minutes complete, and the Atlanta Thrashers, needing a victory to stay alive in the Eastern Conference playoff hunt, have got the Capitals down by 1 at 4-3. Welcome back, everybody. Al Koken and Craig Lachlan with you. I always hear you talk about the D activating. Boy, did you like that second period, because the D on both sides certainly activated.
In the new NHL, it's so important to have the D join the rush, and I think for Hartley and Hanlon, they both preach that. 6 points so far from the D-man between these two clubs. Could be a D-man that finalizes this hockey game.
Well, it was a D-man for the Thrashers that got their scoring started in the second period with his first of the year, Garnett Exelby.
Yeah, and it's a nice long-range shot. He just let her fly. Notice the big screen in front. There's no way he can see behind Eric Bolton. Eric Bolton in the fourth line did a terrific job getting a screen in front of Ole.
Exelby from DeVries and Aubin at 640. Then it was the more traditional route with a high going forward.
Well, Stefan gave the puck to Bondra, and Bondra went up the right flank, and it's a good move against Morrison. I thought at this point right here Morrison had him, but then Peter Bondra took that extra step, went to the net, and chipped it past Ole Kolzig.
Bonder's 21st from Stefan at 8:49. Then it got a little more physical in that second period.
Rico, a big hit on Havlet, took a penalty. Then you'll see Mellenby and company getting tangled up with the Caps star player. But notice who's there also, that Caps number 9. Dinas Zubris has been involved in every zone on the ice tonight.
As we take a look at our Volvo stats, the stat that really jumps out are the shots on goal. Right now, the Caps have done a great job of killing off 6 Thrasher power plays.
And that also means a high volume of opportunities. 18-9 are the scoring chances. The Caps need 6 or 7 more in this third if they're going to win this hockey game.
And coming up in the third, what do we look for from the Capitals trying to respond down a goal? Maybe a little more ice time for number 8?
I think so, and I think this is an Atlanta team that's very desperate right now. They're going to throw everything at the Caps. If they play defense, the Caps will win. If they play their year-long offensive game, they could have a chance for victory tonight.
All right, let's find out. We'll step aside and come back with the critical third period. The Thrashers in the lead by 1 over Washington. It'll be the Capitals in catch-up mode in this third period. To get a little further insight on exactly how they'll do it, here's Craig Laughlin standing by with Caps assistant Dean Evison.
Thanks, Al. Dean, that second period, you see guys seem to have a tough time getting shots towards Dunham. Anything special you have to do in the third?
Well, no, we certainly do want to get pucks through. I mean, obviously he struggled early, and we want to get as many pucks as we possibly can here, certainly early in this period, and see where we can, put a little pressure on them.
They have a great flow game where they go D to D and attack. What's the key defensively, especially between the two blue lines?
Well, we really want to keep a guy in the middle of the ice and attack when we can on the wall when they do go D to D and try to get it up the strong side. Either have our D pinch or have that third man in a good strong position. Hopefully we can turn some pucks over here and, counter attack.
Thanks.
Thanks, Locker.
All right, Dean Evison, our guest. Back to you, Al.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. So the Capitals and the Thrashers get ready for period 3 with 10 different Thrasher players having points so far. Not a single point for Savard, Hossa, and Kovalchuk. And Craig Laughlin, I don't know if that's the good news or the bad news department.
Let's hope it's the good news, and it continues.
We start out 5-on-5, and we start out with Scott Mellenby getting thumped by Dinas Zubris along the boards. Steve Eminger working with Brian Muir behind the net. Jamie Heward with an injury is the lone Capital scratch this evening. It has a big collision in the neutral zone, but there's Mellenby, can't go forward after losing the puck on the fresh ice surface.
Yeah, that could have been the water catching that biscuit. It's so tough to stick handle on any wet part of the ice when there's a puddle forming. It looked like a puddle that caught that puck.
Ovechkin out there to start this period. Tried to chase down the loose puck. You got Ovechkin and Kovalchuk out. As though Ovechkin right now heads to the Capital bench. Here is Stefan, whips it wide. All the way back to center ice where it's played by Garnet Exelby, who earlier tonight picked up his first goal of the season. Early moments of this third period. Stefan finding Peter Bondra. He's also got a goal and tested Kolzig there. Good pad save by Ole. Exelby to the front. Hit traffic on the way in and then knocked down to no call with Jeff Halpern. The Capital captain decked from behind. Rob Schick let him play on.
That's because Stefan was trying to get through to the puck.
Stefan with a shot that Kolzig has to react quickly to. So Patrick Stefan with a couple of good flurries early in this third period.
One thing the Caps may be wise to do is keep the puck off the wall in the harder rounds. Their D are going right away to the far side. Anytime the Caps use a wrap, they're taking away that board wraparound pass.
Amateur gets things started again. Here's Brian Wilsey trying to muscle his way in. Make that Rico Fata and Ovechkin with another thumping hit on a Thrasher defenseman. That one, Andy Sutton. Here's Fata with a backhand, and he's knocked to the deck before he could get full wood on that.
And notice the art of taking a body check by Sutton. Sutton's a big rig. A big hard hit by Ovechkin, but notice Sutton got right to the wall, and that forced Ovechkin to hit him, the boards, all at once, and Ovechkin bounces off, and Sutton not worried about taking that hit.
I think Sutton's partner, Nicholas Havlin, just happy that Ovechkin was picking on somebody other than him. And there is Havlin once again with who else? Ovechkin centering pass, pinballs its way off Sutton and back to the corner. Now in front, a shot and a score! Number 52 for Alex Alex Ovechkin as he continues his rise up the NHL record books.
It's amazing how pucks bounce to great players. The fans on their feet like none other at Verizon Center for their star and hero, Alexander Ovechkin. 8 being rotated around throughout the stands. Here's the play by Clymer, the quick wraparound. A lucky bounce off the D, and there's a gaping, wide-open net for none other than Alex Ovechkin. He's already got his stick cocked. He knows the puck's going to come there, and a kiss-off for number 5-2.
So Alexander Ovechkin gets this game tied at 4, gets the crowd right back in it. Number 52 on his amazing rookie season as he continues to climb up those rookie goal-scoring records. We'll document all the accomplishments that one goal has given Alex Ovechkin in terms of who he has passed in goals and points as a rookie.
That's just amazing. The guys that he's up there with, I mean, that puts him past Nieuwendyk in goals. That is just an amazing feat. Timo Solani and now Bossy in sight of Alex Ovechkin.
Caps looking for more, and a shot stopped by Dunham. First Clymer, then the rebound of Halpern.
Man, this baby's going to heat up. It's like a playoff atmosphere here. Alex Ovechkin, there he is, the great 8 indeed. And look at this play. Starts with the wrap to the front. Clymer continues. Remember the word funneling. That's what the Caps want to do. It goes off the forward and goes to number 8. But notice Ovechkin is already opening up. And you look at his point totals, as you mentioned, most points all time by rookies. Gretzky, Solani, Stastny, Ovechkin, past the great Dale Hawerchuk. Just an amazing feat in his rookie season here in Washington.
Of course, Alex Ovechkin continues to dominate all the Capital rookie scoring records, but now he's also getting ready to obliterate a lot of Capital veteran scoring records as well. So the spectacular number 8 at it again. Here comes Pettinger gunning one wide as the Caps have gotten some life out of that Ovechkin goal. So Ovechkin will pick up that goal at 2 minutes, 36 seconds of the period. Ben Clymer will pick up one of the assists. And the lone assist. So Clymer setting up Ovechkin for number 52. We are tied at 4. 16 minutes to go here in period number 3.
He meant to hit that forward's toe. I love those assists when you're trying to shoot. Ends up a pass, ends up a helper. Gotta love that.
That were usually most of your assists, correct?
Yeah, you called most of them. Probably ripped me off half of them.
I always tried to give it to Greg Adams or Alan Howarth when I could.
I know that.
Thrashers trying to answer back. Kolzig with a testing shot from Ilya Kovalchuk. And big number 37 has got the body in front of that.
Yeah, good play by Kovalchuk, moving laterally. He's another guy that comes down the left flank and loves to move laterally. Here he is, right shot. Look at this. Little move, and then the quick shot. He likes to push back the D, create himself a little lane to drive, and then snap it back against his body. And it's tough for a goaltender to read that because they have to move post to post.
That's vintage Ilya Kovalchuk. We did not see much of that in the first 2 periods. Maybe not a good sign for the Caps. Here's Kovalchuk again. This deflects high over the head of Ole Kolzig. Kovalchuk out there now with Peter Bonder and Patrick Stefan. Chopped out momentarily. Clymer tried to get it through. Now we'll have one more opportunity, and softly he'll flip it to center ice. Off the back of Matt Bradley. He's dumped by DeVries. Brooks Laich giving chase. Laich in a battle. Stepped into his Bradley. Quick shot. Dunham denies. Laich tries to turn it back around. He'll send it into the Atlanta end before heading to the Caps bench for a line change. Right back on the ice is Dinas Zubris, who'll bring Alex Ovechkin with him. Ovechkin now giving chase to Jim Slater at center. Mellenby tries to center, and here is Ovechkin trying to wheel out of the zone. 2-on-2. Ovechkin working. Shot, and Dunham snatches that out of the air as Ovechkin was looking for number 53.
That's his best save of the game for Mike Dunham against the racing Alexander Ovechkin. We talked about him getting on a roll, and when he does, He scores goals. Good play by Ovechkin. He was being lined up by Mellenby right there, and that's what happens because of speed. His tongue a wagging and a shot to boot. He has just given this Caps team a tie. Now he's looking and striking for the win. Nifty shot. Nicely snared by Dunham.
Now we've got a whistle and a holding call, a holding the stick call in the corner, and this is going to put the Capitals down a man as Dinas Zubras returns to the penalty box. He's had a double minor for roughing in the first period.
2 minutes for holding the stick.
2 minutes for roughing in the second, and now Dinas Zubras gets a holding the stick call.
Here it is right off the face-off. Watch him take the draw. There he gets the stick involved. Watch him go after Havlid right there, left hand, just long enough to draw the penalty. The back official Schick picks him up. Dinas in the box at 5:36.
Craig, one thing I have to say for the officials, no matter which side of the game you watch that you're rooting for, I like the way the officials are being as consistent late in the year and ready for the playoffs as they were early in the year.
But that's the big question. Are they going to be consistent in the playoffs when a game and a series and possibly the Stanley Cup is on the line?
That will be the acid test. They're trying to show you at least down the stretch when these games that mean playoff positioning being so important that this is the way they want it called. Shot by McCarthy, tipped wide by Hossa in front, and Kovalchuk dives but can't keep it in.
That was a good curl and drag deflection by Hossa. Could have had Ole pass that left pad, just shanked it a little bit wide on the D-flat.
Thrasher power play with 1:15 to go. The penalty design is Dinas Zubras, one of the cap penalty killers. Although working on the perimeter. Here's Hossa, the dump down to Kozlov off his skates and back to his stick. Kozlov and Kovalchuk playing a little catch. One-timer by Kovalchuk. That hit the back of Steve Eminger in front. Rebound chased to the corner. 55 seconds left in the Thrasher power play. Ryan Muir gathered up Savard. Now Kozlov on the half wall. Up above the face-off circle. Down low to Hossa. Tries to tuck it in. Didn't have full control. And Ole Kozig will make the save and take the face-off. Well, nobody gets you closer to local sports than Comcast Sportsnet. The area sports leader gives you the best coverage of your favorite teams, plus scores, news, highlights, and more. Tonight, watch Sports Night presented by Price Waterhouse Coopers. The chant of Ole, Ole. From a good crowd on hand on Fan Appreciation Night. 40 seconds to go, and Matt Pettinger with a clear lane to get the puck out on the Cap penalty kill.
And two big 50-goal scorers on display, as that graphic showed you. 252 guys, Kovalchuk and Ovechkin, who he just tied.
How about Jonathan Chichu? All of a sudden, since Joe Thornton got to San Jose, Jonathan Chichu has become...
I think he likes playing with him, huh?
An amazing story. Now we're going to get an interference call. This is going to be behind the net, and this should take the Thrashers off their power play, as it's going to be former Capital Peter Bonder shaking his head at Rob Schick.
And here it is. And there's the interference call by Peter Bondra. So the Caps, after 18 seconds, wind down from Dinas Zubras is holding the stick penalty. They'll have a Bondra power play, a chance with him in the box. Here it is down low. Watch the hook on Morrison right there. Little interference to push him away from the check of Kozlov. That little push lands Peter Bondra in the box for interference.
And Craig, keep an eye on Dinas Zubras. The Caps would love to spring him coming out of the box if the Thrashers aren't paying attention. Right now, Andy Sutton all the way back into the neutral zone. Ovechkin on the ice with Jeff Halpern, Ben Clymer, and Muir. So right now, Dinas Zubras will jump out for a Capital power play. Zubras is the man, tries to poke the puck from Patrick Stefan and does it. And now Stefan heads to the bench. Penalty killers out there for the Atlanta Thrashers. Here's Zubras winding into the Atlanta zone. Dinas Zubras has been red hot in terms of scoring goals lately for the Washington Capitals. Cross ice to Brian Muir. Thought about a slap shot. Works with Ovechkin. Muir cross ice to Ben Clymer. Muir, Clymer. Catch at the blue line. Here's Ovechkin. Surveys. In front. Deflection by Halpern. Puck is loose, and Alban will get to it and clear.
Yeah, Ovechkin tried to ladle one in there to Halpern, who was wide open. He's a right shot. Didn't get a whole lot of that. Ovechkin's pass a little soft, couldn't get a whole lot of mustard on it.
And here's a turnover. Kozlov in, saved by Kolzig, and Kozlov sent the rebound right through the crease. Dangerous play by the Slava Kozlov Express. Here's Hossa, denied again. This time Kolzig comes up with a beauty on Marian Hossa. And slashed to the ice is Ovechkin, and yes, we will get a call.
And it's going to be a hook from the guy that missed that play at the other end. Hossa, their best all-around player. High stick, hook, you name it. Hartley not too happy. The Caps will have 31 seconds on a 5-on-3, Al, to take the lead here tonight.
And now Ovechkin having some words with some of the members of the Atlanta Thrashers as Hossa heads to the box. Take another look as Glenn Hanlon ready to call a timeout.
Here's that last chance. Good fight of the puck. Notice Hossa fighting his way past Wilsey. That leads to a glorious chance. Short-handed for number 18. Here's the slash coming up ice. 1-2. And it's the high stick and hook at the end that actually draws the penalty. He might have been getting away with a couple of the whacks of the twig. But with that, I've talked about bench management every game it seems. Hanlon loves to use his timeouts at critical times. A lot of coaches, Al, wait till the last minute of play. I think this is a more prudent way to use your timeouts during a hockey game.
Craig could not agree with you more. So the Cap Stars have got to get something done. The role players have made a difference so far tonight.
Rico Fata, nice play getting the puck to the net. There's a chip shot by Brooks Laich. That's his assist. Good pressure right there by Laich. He returns the favor. And there's Rico. I love that. His first goal at Verizon Center. He's also got some good shots. That knuckleballer. And then the finish. Rico getting comfortable here in his Caps' 20th game here on home ice.
But right now, Rico Fata watches from the Capitol bench as it's 5-on-3. Zubris, Halpern, Ovechkin, Wilsey, and Muir working against 3 penalty killers for the Atlanta Thrashers.
Sorting out a face-off there. They didn't like Zuby and Sutton getting too close. Now they're going to throw out a center.
So Halpern gets chased. Dinah Zubers will check in. The advantage of having 2 center icemen for Glenn Hanlon.
That was probably the plan. Look at Sutton. He's still upset. He's still giving a cuff to the head of Halpern. The referees aren't going to be able to get this going. That could be a delay of game. And you could call that.
They finally do drop the puck, and the Capitals gain control. Sutton, Havlin, and Larson, the 3 penalty killers for the Atlanta Thrashers. Wilsey with room, shoots, deflected in, scores! Brian Wilsey gets the Caps on the 5-on-3 power play, and they'll still have a man advantage for a minute and 49 seconds.
So that face-off draw works out just perfectly. Number 1, Halpern throwing out. Then Zuby comes in, and look at the smiles on the faces and the fans on their feet, waving those towels here on Fan Appreciation Night. Here comes the slap shot. Notice in front of the net, and there it is, right off the stick of the defenseman Havlin. It changed the pace of the puck. Dunham was looking for a high-speed shot. That deflection slows it down, and the reaction of Dunham way too fast for the shot that slows down. He's actually trying to recover, Al, when the puck goes past his right pad.
Nicholas Havlin trying to help Mike Dunham. Instead, it hurt right there. And as Matt Pettinger did earlier in the night, Craig Laughlin, Brian Wilsey one closer to that 20-goal plateau. And right now, still a minute and 20 seconds to go for the Caps power play. Zubris weaves his way into the zone. Now he's got to pull himself back to stay onside. Behind the net, it's Sutton. He'll spin it right up the ice and right on to Ole Kolzig. So Brian Wilsey picks up a 5-on-3 power play goal to move the Caps on top again by 1. Alex Ovechkin will also pick up a point, so he continues his move up on the rookie point scoring list.
They just decked Stefan in the neutral zone, ran into him, knocked his lid off. It knocked him so hard.
Matthew Biron to the net. That deflects to wide. Ovechkin works with Biron. He'll crank it again. Dunham, a big save on a blast from Matthew Biron.
That was one of his best of this hockey game. That was through a screen. He picked it up late. What a stop. Biron can bring it.
That will be something we'll have to keep an eye on if the Atlanta Thrashers are able to come back. Mike Dunham, who has been shaky in the early going and has had 2 beat him tonight, may have kept the Atlanta Thrashers season alive Matthew Biron couldn't hold it in. 10 seconds to go on this Caps man advantage. Marian Hossa ready to come out of the penalty box. He is let loose. So the Thrashers do kill off that second portion of the power play, but Brian Wilsey made him pay. And that timeout that Glenn Hanlon called to discuss strategy, Craig, you talked about, that is something Glenn Hanlon has done a lot this year. It certainly paid big dividends there. DeVries has trouble with it behind the net. He's being chased down by Chris Clark. Thrashers try to have some sort of answer. They've got 8 minutes and 40 seconds left to salvage their season. We'll see how much Kovalchuk, Hossa, and company get for Bob Hartley in this remaining 8:35, and the same for Alex Ovechkin. Wrister up into the netting, and we have got a stoppage in play. 8:31 to go. Ovechkin with a goal and an assist to give the Caps a 5-4 lead. As we take a look at our game summary, Alex Ovechkin with a goal and an assist. 105 points now in the season. He's passed Dale Hawerchuk for third place overall in rookie points. And you see Kovalchuk, Hossa, and Savard without a point this evening. Dinah Zubers also picked up an assist on that Brian Wilsey goal. And for Dinah Zubers now, he has got 16 points in his last 14 games.
Man, if the Atlanta Thrashers are going to win this hockey game, they need somebody to chip in. And one of the keys was chip in Chuck, and that's Kovalchuk. Has not been a factor. He was held off the board by the Bruins. The Capitals have done the same thing against their high-flying winger, number 17.
Right now we see Bobby Holik out there with Peter Bondra and the man we talked about, Ilya Kovalchuk. So some different combinations to try and get number 17 going. That one gobbled up by Ole Kolzig off the stick of Bobby Holik.
And he's been a real force down the stretch. Anytime you have great leadership on a team, like the Thrashers and both the Caps do, you need guys, your veteran guys, like a Bobby Holik that's been there, done that, won some dances. He's one of the key guys, and his play has been elevated this last portion of the season.
Bob Hartley has talked about how he has leaned on his veterans. Holik, Mellenby, Kozlov, guys who have won Stanley Cups, to try and keep this young Thrasher team in the mix, and they've done a pretty good job so far. Great read there by Brian Wilsey, the last Capital goal scorer, foiling an offensive attempt. Now a pass to Muir, snaps it just off the post, and a shot and a goal! Has Matt Pettinger got number 20? Yes, he has!
Well, the Caps really wanted to come into this game against Hartley's team and win it. There's a good rivalry brewing between these two clubs. The fans going crazy here tonight. What a vocal group of fans this Caps team has. And Matt Pettinger, we've been talking about that magic number 20. Well, Petty has himself a goal. It started on a nice redirect. Watch Helpy in front. He gets a piece of this. Just misses the net. Look at Dunham. He's looking around. He's on a walk in a park instead of paying attention. He doesn't pay attention. Look at him recover, wondering where the puck is. And there's Petty putting it past a surprised Dunham, who wasn't prepared for the second follow-up shot.
So congratulations, Matt Pettinger, as that puck now is being marked for Matt Pettinger as he reaches that 20-goal milestone. So the Capitals now have 4 players with 20 or more. And Brian Wilsey just one away from that. Kolzig blockers that shot away from Bobby Holik, as he's done a good job of keeping the Caps right in it in this third period, after the Thrashers seem to have turned things around in the second. Number 37 has gotten a great job done tonight, as the Caps have responded in front of him. Ben Clymer pinned to the boards by Steve McCarthy. In comes Bradley to help. Holik trying to chop it free. Now Bradley wants to walk in front. He was turned away by DeVries. Behind the net, it's Holik. He worked over by Clymer, and finally the Thrashers get it out of the zone, but that was way too much effort just to get it inside the Caps blue line. There's a stoppage in the play. Matt Pettinger, congratulations on number 20. That will look nice on your mantle. As we take a look at our Toyota lead leaders coming into tonight's action, Alex Ovechkin over 23% of his team's goals belong to him. And once again, select company he keeps, and guys like Bure, Aginla, and others.
Not a cheesehead, an 8-head here in Washington.
That's a great 8 right there. Ovechkin trying to collar down that loose puck.
A raucous crowd here tonight. Al, they had it in Atlanta the other game for their last home game on Saturday afternoon. Same thing tonight. The hockey song, grave reviews. A mad dancer in the stands.
Like that. Dancing on the ice is Ovechkin. Wheels it around to Chris Clark. He's held, and here goes the Caps to another power play. Andy Sutton had a little too much of Chris Clark. And for a team like the Thrashers, who are now down 2 with 6:09 to go in regulation, this is not what Bob Hartley wanted to see.
No, and obviously there's all these fans here at Verizon Center, and there's also the Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay Lightning cheering for the Caps here tonight. And here's Clark. This all comes down to just hard work. There's nothing more to say about that. Sutton can't control Clark, even though he's bigger and stronger. He gets a 2-minute holding call because of Clark's work in the tough trenches behind the net.
You talked about the animosity that has been built in between these two teams as the Thrashers have come in 5-0.
And there they sit
2
in the
overtime
Eastern
wins.
Conference,
Yep.
Al, in Tampa Bay. And Montreal, as I mentioned, cheering for this Caps team.
In front, Zubers tried to tuck it home, lost it on the way up. Back come the Thrashers after gamble, shorthanded. And they almost score, but a whistle before Larson put it past Ole Kolzig.
And the Atlanta Thrashers can't believe it. They're giving the hand. What's going on here? Oban and company offside. Ole Kolzig stopped playing. There's a look at Bob Hartley, one of the winningest coaches, especially in the National Hockey League recently. Obviously his run in Colorado and his run throughout his career. Wherever he's stopped, he's done a heck of a job. Yep. And he's been a good coach so far for Atlanta. Their best numbers ever in the history of their franchise this year.
With the NHL season, he has got that excellent experience and felt very confident coming into this game the way his team had been playing. They certainly had been on a terrific run. 5-0-1 in their last 6. Certainly coming up with some big performances when needed, but right now the Capitals have had everything answered that the Thrashers have thrown at them. Ole Kolzig did the splits. That thing went wide. Kolzig back up as the Thrashers putting the pressure on shorthanded. Here's DeVries looking for somebody in the corner, that being Jim Slater.
You know, our one constant tonight is that number 20. Well, we've talked about Pettinger. We've talked about Wilsey. Pettinger has it. Don't forget the big fella, Godzilla, looking for win number 20.
Zubris a shot. And Dunham fought that off as Dinah Zubris unloaded with a hard wrist shot. And now another whistle. We've got a stoppage in play. And we're going to get a face-off.
Yeah, it looks like too many men on the ice for the Caps. They had 6 jerseys on there. And notice Zuby trying to get off on the bench there. So they're caught. Hartley's going to like that. And that's an opportunity now for this Thrasher team. Here's the 2-on-1. Ovechkin going wide. Zubris taken away by Havlet. And then the Caps, 6 guys on the ice. A line change mistake. Coaches behind the bench. It's such a fast-moving game. The fastest in the world. You give signals to the D. You give signals to the forwards. It's often, 99% of the time, it's the player's fault because they're going at the wrong time after the coaches told them who's going.
So a little life for the Atlanta Thrashers now. 4-on-4. Remember, they scored a goal earlier tonight in exactly that configuration. And Ben Clymer will end up serving this too many men on the ice penalty. So 4-on-4 hockey for another 35 seconds, and the Thrashers on a power play. This may be their last opportunity to keep the season alive.
And we'll see if Bob Hartley elects to pull the goaltender. I mean, this is their whole season.
Absolutely. That's an excellent point.
I mean, they haven't made it in 5 straight seasons, you know, including the lockout. That would be 6, but 5 seasons without the postseason.
So much riding on this game for the Thrashers. That's why the Caps' response tonight has been most impressive. They have looked like the team ready to try and grab a playoff berth. And even though the Capitals will miss the playoffs, they certainly have a lot to play for these final moments. Mike Dunham has got to see some teammates get it done. Coming up after Caps postgame live, Sports Night presented by PricewaterhouseCoopers. We'll have a wrap-up of the Orioles and Angels. Larry Hughes with a playoff preview. He could face his former team and bench warmers. All that coming up tonight on Sports Night. But right now we've got exactly 4 minutes to go in this third period. Caps up 6-4, and the Thrashers on the power play. Mellanby swings it around. First man to it is Dinas Zubris. Can he get it out? No. Good play by McCarthy to hold in. Mellanby centers to Kovalchuk, and Majewski tied him up. Now Ilya Kovalchuk surveys. 45 seconds to go on the power play. Kozlov above the faceoff circle. Back to the point for McCarthy. Kozlov down low. Looking for Marian Hossa. Now McCarthy. Somebody needs to shoot. Kovalchuk holds it. Now will take a shot. Deflected on the way in. Hossa the rebound. Kolzig got a little piece of that as it trickled wide. Fancy work by Kovalchuk to McCarthy. He tees it up, and Kolzig puts the pillows to that.
Well, there you see the fancy Dan footwork and stick work of Kovalchuk getting that puck to McCarthy, but that's another sharp angle shot on their power play. Their power play is best when they're rotating and moving the puck around. Watch this play by Kovalchuk. Here's the play on Dinas. Dinas tries to trip him. There's the inside move, but notice where this puck is coming from. Goaltenders in the National Hockey League are going to have a heyday stopping that at such a sharp angle.
Bob Hartley has taken his timeout, and Craig, this will be a very interesting thing to watch. Will Mike Dunham come out with the faceoff down there? Because a timeout by Glenn Hanlon has turned this hockey game around.
Yeah, it turned into a nice goal by the Washington Capitals. Starts with the up right there to the point. Here comes Wilsey. Havlid the deflection. There it is, number 28. Dunham was going down, recovering, getting back in. And then the Caps strike again. Again, this is funneling the puck near the shot. Deflection, Halpern. Dunham, not sure where the puck is, sort of fell asleep.
Yep.
And Pettinger whacked in his 20th of the season.
Well, they have taken Mike Dunham out. So the gamble anticipated earlier by Craig Laughlin is going to be rolled by Bob Hartley now. Remember, the Caps killing a penalty can take a free shot at the empty Atlanta net. So it's 6-on-4 for the Thrashers with their season on the line. Hossa to the front. Knocked down by Majewski. 7 seconds left on the Thrasher power play. Mellanby to the front. And stolen away by Halpern. He's tripped up before he can clear it. Another shot. Kolzig with a pad on that. Another rebound and a stop by Ole Kolzig as time runs out on the power play for the Atlanta Thrashers. And number 37 has just come up with his 37th save of the night.
Well, he's been the difference, looking for his 7th of the last 8 season, 20 wins. Here's a reverse angle. They're going to keep the goaltender out. Here's Kovalchuk, the follow-up, didn't get it high enough. I asked Hanlon recently, would he pull the goalie in this situation being down 2? And he said no, absolutely not. He'd wait till the power play is over to see what would happen. He wouldn't want to let his team go down by 3 because then you're done. So 2 different trains of thoughts between Hartley and Hanlon.
Well, with 2:35 to go, Hartley has got Mike Dunham on the bench, and it's now 6-on-5. Marian Hossa, who probably won't be off the ice much, if at all, in these final moments. Dinas Zubris battles in there with Savard, who has been very quiet this evening. Now a pass. Kozlov tries to tuck it in. Kolzig one stop, then the rebound cleared. Atlanta tries to get a long entry pass. This will be touched up by Majewski, not cleared with 2 minutes to play in regulation.
Yeah, we heard one of the linesmen yell ice. It was along with Ole Kolzig, but then they waved it off.
Was waiting for the exact same thing. Here's Kovalchuk with a head of steam. Stopped at the blue line by Brooks Laich, who lost a stick. Got to hustle to the bench and get one. Savard pulled a little bit, and now the Caps stepped out. Matt Bradley hit the post. Matt Bradley had a chance to close the Thrashers out and hit the post.
And that often comes back to haunt you if they get it up the ice quick enough.
Well, let's see, will the Thrashers get it up right on to Kolzig by Kozlov all the way from the front of the Atlanta bench. Now Steve Eminger chips it to center. Will it get to the open net before Havlid? No. Nicholas Havlid back as we draw to the exact final minute. Halpern, and that's a save by Havlid, the best of the night. A minute to go, and now the net comes off its moorings. Was it intentionally taken off? No. Just a stoppage of play with exactly 60 seconds remaining in regulation for Glenn Hanlon. His final appearance at home for Bob Hartley. 60 seconds to decide if the season stays alive.
Well, here's Havlin behind the net, tried to throw it up the gut. Here comes Jeff Halpern. There's the leg slide right there. It would have been maybe better served for Havlin to start in net tonight. What a save right there. It's Caps games anyways. They're up by 2, a buck left on the clock. This is going to be very animosity type game after this. There you see Dunham, Hartley and company, heartbroken coming into this hockey game, knowing farewell they had to beat the Caps and win tomorrow night. They're going to be dunsy with the Caps up by 2.
And a class move by Glenn Hanlon. The net is empty, and Brian Wilsey sitting at 19 goals on the ice for the Washington Capitals. Wouldn't you love to get Pettinger and Wilsey to 20 tonight? Centering pass off the mark, cannot be held in by McCarthy with 40 seconds to go. Wilsey, Zubris out there for the Capitals along with Matt Pettinger. Sean Morrison and Ivan Majewski as Hossa centers it. That hit the side of the net, bounces right back to Marian Hossa. Savard to the front. Pinballs its way out, and there goes Brian Wilsey to give chase with 20 seconds to go. This big crowd here at Verizon Center getting ready to erupt for a Washington Capital victory. Banked off the boards and out. 8 seconds to go. Kozlov throws it in. It goes off the back of the net and sits there. The Thrashers won't chase, and that is going to do it. A spectacular third period for the Washington Capitals, reversing a 4-3 lead, and the season over for Bob Hartley and the Atlanta Thrashers.
Hartley's just sitting on the bench, just staring daggers at the officials tonight. There he is, not too happy with what transpired. The Caps joyous. A big win on home ice for this team, and Alex Ovechkin. This Caps team has been red hot down the stretch, collecting points in now 16 of their last 25 games out.
That man, Matt Pettinger, with 20 goals on the season, 2 goals tonight, is our Microsoft Player of the Game. Congratulations to Matt Pettinger. Jeff Halpern, who got him an assist with a big smile, and plenty of heroes tonight for Washington. Sportsnet coverage of Capitals hockey has been brought to you by Pulte Homes. Pulte Homes has 15 new home communities in the D.C. metro area. Visit Pulte.com. By Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Alexandria Buick Pontiac GMC. We are all about you. A great performance by the Washington Capitals, matching the tremendous performance all year long for our home crew here at Verizon and on Comcast Sportsnet. For those men and women, we thank them for their terrific efforts all year long to make us look even better. For Craig Laughlin and Joe Beninati, I'm Al Koken. The final
Where was
score.
he? Was he on assignment?
Absolutely.
There you go.
And we'll be on assignment in a moment because we're going to have you join us tomorrow night at 7:30 on Comcast Sportsnet as the Capitals close out the season in Tampa against the Lightning. Stay tuned for Joe Ricci and Caps.